If it didn't ever you know what is a star like another city, the driver's side fly, go to the large, so many more, 10 in the more, never a bar, hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P, nothing to you, but it's something to me, hands up as ever, cute as could be, you can watch on YouTube if you want for free, hey, this one time for the Twitch, this one time for the text, this one time for the phone line, whole time, wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
December 26, 2024. How you doing? I am Dan Day, not Tobin. Leroy is here. Vladimir Lewis saw yesterday, Christmas Day, the first day of Hanukkah, and the sports gods blessed us with gift after gift after gift. Leroy, what was your favorite gift that you got yesterday?
Basketball.
You like the basketball?
The basketball. The football was, all it did was confirm everything that I thought about the Kansas City Chiefs.
That they can win 11 games.
That y'all could think what y'all want with all these close games, but
they won 3 games in 11 days.
And guess what?
And they ran away with it.
At no point in time did you ever think they squeaked by.
Especially not yesterday.
Right. I'm just like, I'm baffled by, and they got injuries too. And they got guys banged up too. And their star player on defense didn't play.
Yeah, but
right?
But they got 1-5.
Yeah. Yeah. Who?
That's it.
Hey,
wait. They got Andy Reid.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? There's Lamar Jackson. There's Jalen Hurts. There's Josh Allen. How can this bad dad body guy always seem to run for 20 when he need 19 for a first?
Don't you guys realize something? He's great healthy. But what you think is an injury is actually like his Popeye spinach. Anytime his ankle gets messed up right around postseason time, that's like,
right.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes is gonna go seek and destroy, and that's what's gonna happen.
Right. But like you say, what did they went into that game saying? There's no way he's gonna run on that bum ankle.
Last week, right? First possession, touchdown.
Suckers. And Lamar, are we starting? And I'm gonna say this, and you probably gonna agree with me, right? For all the things we say about the Dolphins, right? Big game in December, playoffs. Can we start saying that about Lamar?
Yeah, he's the Phil Mickelson of the NFL.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and this is it. And here, I don't believe this at all. I think that sports is a crazy thing in that you can be great 70 or 80% of the time in baseball. You can be great 30% of the time. In basketball, you can be great for 40, 50% of the time. And the only things we talk about is the other percentage that you haven't been good. And we do that in sports. And it's crazy because I'm a firm believer that a guy who bats 300 is going to bat 300. And if he goes 0 for 6, that means, he's going to have a heater. If you don't get it at the right time, like you think these guys don't want to get a hit all the time? So to say that, this guy can't hit under clutch, like it's hard.
I can't shoot him bail, Leroy, on that. Because when you're being put in a esteemed class, you're now being your 2-time MVP, your performance and your talent and what you showcase in the regular season has put you now in a place where if you do win a championship, now you've elevated yourself into another level.
There's so many moving parts that why do we put it on one guy? And I'm not saying that all these things can't be true, and that Lamar has played some of his worst games in those moments. But I'll take it a step further. What about the teams that rely so much on one guy? Like the thing about Patrick Mahomes this year, they've not had to rely on him solely like they do in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow.
No.
And so from that standpoint, it's almost like what he's done up to this point has been bonus because that defense has never let a team run away. That, they're always in all these games and allows him to relax and have those 2 or 3 big plays. And so I get what everybody says about all of this. But so, in basketball, you can have your star go out and average 40 in the series. And the only thing we're going to say is he couldn't get past the first round.
Well, but there's also, like I always say, what do I always say, Dan? There's always context. So,
but that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, if he's averaging 40 points, but in the clutch when games are, winning possession games, and he doesn't come up big, or the other person or the other star on the other team does, you're gonna get criticized.
But it's so, I think it's so much deeper than that, though.
Yeah,
just to say this guy did it and this guy didn't. You score 40 points in the NBA game. Are we only going to talk about the shot that he missed at the end? That's what we
do.
I understand that, but is that?
Don't do this. Who would you rather be, Mark Rippon, Trent Dilfer, or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson. Wait, I give you one even better.
Championship. He hasn't won the big game.
I give you one even better. Dan Marino might be one of the purest passers of the football to ever walk the face of the earth.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that. We say that. We know that. Right? But we don't ever talk about Dan Marino as never winning as much as we do some of the guys we do today.
But okay, here's the other thing you also
because we say this. He never had run game. He never had this.
All right.
He never had that.
And then so with Lamar, those things were being said. He doesn't have an established running game.
Oh, yeah. Now, I see what you're saying right now. Now he got everything.
So you understand? Okay, fine.
I do.
You haven't won. You haven't won, but you've done all of this. But if I've seen sustained greatness in the regular season for over a period of time, but when you get into the postseason and they've added weapons, they've given you things, they've heard the outside noise to help you. After a while, if you don't do it, it's on you, fam.
Okay. But how can we start this conversation with what we say about Patrick Mahomes and then talk about Lamar Jackson not being able to win? Is it possible? Is it possible that, for example, the mailman played basketball at the same point in time as Michael Jordan?
But there's sometimes you play in a time when there's a boogeyman.
Yeah.
Okay. But we don't like it. Can both guys be great? And Patrick Mahomes is just on that Tom Brady level, like it was with Manning.
Yeah. We see it. We've seen it. We've already seen it. So that's why.
Can both be great though? Can both be great and he just not be able to get past the boogeyman, or does he have to be a failure?
You were just born in the wrong era sometimes.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you a failure. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Lamar Jackson is great, right? Lamar Jackson is great. And his unfortunate circumstances are that in the point in time when he's trying to win a championship, he got Josh Allen and he got Patrick Mahomes. The same way Phil Mickelson had Tiger Woods.
Yeah, sometimes you're just playing, you're great. It's just somebody better.
But we don't acknowledge that's all I'm saying.
No, we don't ever that.
We don't. We always say that he's a failure.
Dan, you know why, Dan? No, you know why, Dan? You know why we acknowledge that? It's because that boogeyman starts to be hated. And they want that boogeyman to want to be taken down.
Too much. So Patrick Mahomes did not wrong, but too much. We got too much. Too much. About Tom Brady.
Championships, you get tired. You start to get tired of winning.
Nobody hated Michael Jordan, so let's get away from that.
Well, he's great.
Wait, but check this out. Wait. At the end, when he was playing Utah, there was a lot of people hoping Utah beat him. So let's not.
You get tired of the winning,
right?
put it this way. It's happened down here when the U was winning national titles all the time. People get sick and tired. It happens in Alabama. With LSU. When they start seeing an established winning and they're in the championship all the time, getting the best players, or you get upset.
I got you, but all I'm saying is this. It's unfortunate that we can't just enjoy what is going to turn out to be, especially in the AFC. And now in the NFC, when you talk about Philadelphia, Minnesota, Detroit, right? When you talk about these teams, and instead of enjoying like this is going to be like a shootout because you have no idea what's going to happen, we're going to look back and say, you know, when these games play out, somebody was a failure. And I'm like, the hardest thing for a fan to do, no matter how good your team is to admit the other team was better. And I'm not saying Lamar Jackson ain't great, but I'm saying right now, what he dealing with that boogeyman in Kansas City, right? What Josh Allen is dealing with that boogeyman in Kansas City, right? That is, we go at the end of the year, if they win again and win 3 in a row, we going to look back and talk about the failures of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and not the greatness of what Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and these Kansas City Chiefs have done.
Leroy.
I'm not saying they haven't, but what what we saying is we also say this. And I think, you know, you can play a bad game in those moments, right? I'm not excluding that. But what I'm saying is this, is that they're going to look at Josh Allen saying he can't get over the hump. They're going to look at, you know, a Lamar Jackson and say, oh, he's a regular season guy. And I'm saying, no, they just playing at the same time as Patrick Mahomes. And it's unfortunate, but it doesn't take away from any of the greatness that is Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
And that is a fair point. Now, Leroy, you answered the question to open the show. I'm going to ask you, Vlad, from the sports gods yesterday, Vlad, what was your favorite present?
Knicks over the Spurs.
With that being said, you both agreed the NBA was better yesterday, and we have not talked 1 second about it. Once again, the NFL wins. I'm sorry.
No, because because we really want to talk NBA. We got to talk about the news locally.
Let's do it right now. These headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Choose from hundreds of Volkswagen models in inventory. Remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. Sources, Shams, say that Jimmy Butler prefers a trade before the February 6th deadline. Jimmy Butler is questionable tonight as the Heat are in Orlando to take on the Magic.
Hey, hold up. I got this.
Go.
Now, we are familiar with the NBA inner workings, right? And I'm going to throw this out there. I have no idea if it's true. All I have is what transpired in the past with every team. Now, let me put this out there. Y'all tell me if I'm off base, because I'm not a conspiracy guy. You know, I get on Tobin about this, but it must be said. Now, Jimmy Butler hasn't played in a couple of games.
Friday, he got sick.
He was sick, apparently, after spraining his ankle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
been sick since.
He hurt his ankle so bad he had the bubble guts. I was like, so help me with it. All right, whatever.
The hip bone.
Now, when a star player over the last 15 years of the NBA has not played and mysteriously is out for a number of games for whatever reason, what does that usually mean?
Trade's about to happen.
Okay. I'm just saying, I don't want to be the only one to feel that way, but the circumstances in which Jimmy Butler has not played, right, seem kind of eyebrow raising, right? Like, am I the only one?
It's you definitely eyebrow raising. Dan and I talked about this prior. It's Jimmy's agent. What's going on here?
I know what's going on.
I know what's going on, but what you're making the public seem like it's like all these Shams is not coming out here, especially getting this new gig with ESPN.
He's not putting his reputation on the line to take a wild guess
and going like
now they just got the job too.
Especially especially when you're replacing the guy who taught you and the guy that you were competing against. You're not gonna go in first story and just throwing something on the wall to see if it stick.
Wild guess.
No, you're not doing that. You're getting information, and you know what's going on.
And you think it's coming from Jimmy's agent,
right? From someone in Jimmy's camp.
Yeah. Okay, but here's my other thing. Here's my other thing. Like, okay, like we see the stuff out there, and everybody's gonna ask Jimmy. And Jimmy's not going to talk because he's not playing, so he don't have to talk, right? Everybody going to ask Spo. Everybody going to ask the Heat. And then it's mysteriously going to happen. Now, if there's a message out there that says he prefers to get traded during before the trade deadline, one of the reasons why they put that out there is so neither side is pressured into making a sudden, and then you end up with a garbage trade. You see what I mean? But that brings me to this point. Are there more teams out there that feel the way Portland did? Because wouldn't that make it more difficult for anybody to do a trade with?
They're intimidated by Pat Riley and
not even intimidated, just like it almost means Portland went out of their way not to do business with the Heat. So if there's more teams like that, then where does that leave the Heat? And is that why maybe his agent put that out there early to get things rolling instead of waiting until the last 2 or 3 days before the trade deadline?
Maybe there could be a deal that they're working on right now. Maybe they're trying to get this extension done. Who knows what's going on?
Or maybe trying to get this deal done now so that you go to this new team, hopefully a contending team, you play well, and then they give you the contract that you want because
you don't want to just be there at the last minute.
You don't want to get traded next season at the end of the year, and then you may not have the leverage.
Well, the way the NBA is throwing money around, I do believe Jimmy would get an extension with 29 other teams. Now, there's 30 teams in the NBA. The only one he wouldn't get it with is the Heat. Right? That's the way it's playing out for me. Because if they were going to give him an extension, he would have already got it.
And what's good for Jimmy is that those teams that are rumored to be his destination need him. Like you saw that Warriors game yesterday against the Lakers.
Yeah. They need Jimmy. They need that dog. They need what Jimmy is a true scorer built like Draymond Green. Right? Like Draymond Green does his thing, his assists, his touch them all, but he's not the scorer that Jimmy is.
I'm just it's just weird out to me that he's missed 3 games now?
With all that being said, he's probably going to play tonight and score 40 points.
Are we sure about this? Because this sounds
wait. If he doesn't play tonight, is that
means nothing?
That to me sounds like Miami Open.
It means something.
Miami Open flu from last year.
Can I just say something? If you got bubble guts for over a week, you need medical attention.
Yeah.
Dude, y'all listen. When you get the bubble gut, you today some bad food. I know. Look, I'm from New Orleans. Where you might get something that's a little bit too spicy, right? And you're in a little bit of trouble. It it lasts for 24 hours, and then guess what you do? What was that? Let me try it again, right? That's what we do.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
But if it's still lasting for a week, first of all, right, you're gonna be dehydrated. Like you can't, dude. Bubble guts is not designed. No, bubble guts is not a.
What are you telling me? There's not enough Michelob Ultra for him to drink?
No.
For him to be hydrated?
Hey, dude, if you go out and just drink, first of all, you ain't gonna have the bubble guts for like 12 hours because you're gonna sleep it off first. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on.
So probably suffering with that
here's
after
the
a
deal.
long day of eating yesterday.
I'm gonna just say this: if he don't play tonight, listen, I might be full Tobin.
Look,
Tobin melt. Yo, Shams nearly ruined Tobin's Christmas. I think Shams he ruined Tobin's Christmas.
we're gonna get more into Jimmy Butler, more into Christmas, but we also have to find out who's going to be playing quarterback this weekend for one of your former teams, Leroy, against the Miami Dolphins. That is next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Sunday, 4 o'clock, Cleveland, Ohio. It is the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Looks like, I don't even know what QB Jameis Winston is for the Browns. If he's QB
Oh, Jameis is playing?
3. No. You got to let me finish, Mia Moore. I don't know if he's.
Never call me my love. Ever. Never say that.
Hey, I knew that was. Hey, when that came out, I knew that was going sideways.
Well, I mean, when you cut me off, I mean,
I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I thought Jameis was bench, but go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know if he's QB 2, 3, whatnot. It looks like Jameis Winston's not going to be playing for whatever reason, whether he's banged up, whether he's benched. It looks like the Cleveland Browns options, Dorian Thompson Robinson, just rolls off the tongue, or Bailey Zappi.
Just call him DTR.
Who do you have a better chance with, Leroy? And do you even have a chance against Tua Tagovailoa and this Dolphins team that seems to be getting a little more into form?
Before you answer that, Leroy, what's the weather going to be like on Sunday?
It'll be like 45, 50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So here's the deal, but it's going to be raining. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay. I'm going to give you all of the options for the three guys. Jameis Winston makes some of the greatest throws that you have ever seen.
We're lucky we're not facing him.
And some of the worst.
Still lucky we're not facing him.
It's literally a crapshoot. He can throw for 500 and no picks, and he can throw for 150 and 4 picks. You don't know. And I wish he could get that under control because he is fun to watch.
He is praying.
Now, he asked God to take away the pick sixes, but he should have just said the picks, right? DTR is young, and the problem is he's never had a substantial run to where he can go through the bumps and bruises of being a quarterback in the NFL. Some of it may be on him, but some of it is just if you start your career as a backup, you never get a flow of being a quarterback. And sometimes guys who always come in like that either try to press too much or don't pick up on the speed of the game. And Bailey Zappi has played.
He started.
And so when you think of him, you think of a guy who has, regardless of what his skill set is, who has played and played a lot. So that's your three options. The fact that what I would literally do is I would just let DTR and try to coach him up and see what you got, right? And see if you can get him comfortable where he can go out and relax and play. Because young guys coming in those moments, right? They want to make a name for themselves. They want to show they can be the starter. And sometimes it doesn't come across. They hold the ball too long. They don't want to throw those little short passes that everybody's throwing, and you end up getting yourself in trouble.
Quick fact.
Good.
So what is your best option if you're a Cleveland Browns fan or whatever to win? If you're a Cleveland Browns coach, what is your best option at quarterback?
If you, of the three,
it's all about winning.
Jameis. Because you know Jameis going to push the ball down the field. Like these young quarterbacks get in the game, they're scared to launch it. And whenever they do launch it, it's it's because they're under pressure. Jameis is going to sit in the pocket. He's going to be calm. He just might throw it to the other team. And that has more to do with, I think Jameis needs to better understand the game that he's playing, right? Every game can be 400. Sometimes a 400-yard game is only 200 yards, but being 20 of 22.
So Stefanski's not on the foreman, right? He's good. He's good for next season, right?
Huh?
Stefanski's his ass is not on the foreman. He's not on the grill. Like his job is
like what? He's had 7 quarterbacks in 2 years.
The reason why I asked that is because Cleveland might not want to win many more games to improve their draft status.
Listen,
that's why you might play DTR more so than play Jameis.
Hey, can I just say this? Like, You making it sound like if they really wanted to win, they could. I'm telling you, they trying, right? So like stop, like all this. We might as well go out there. No, they trying to win.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. You worry about the wrong thing. And let me just throw this out there. All these people who say we should tank for X, y'all making it sound like your management and your GM and your owner want the same guy you want. For example, Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. Okay? It happens.
Not looking too bad now.
Who, Bryce Young? Not looking too bad, but I still take CJ Stroud.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm just saying, like we all, everybody, all these fans and people that talking on the radio like us say, "Ooh, I know who I would want." Like you making the assumption that those teams want that same guy.
Right. Did you know going into this coming Sunday, when the start of the game happens, the Dolphins will have played all the 3-loss teams in the league. The Patriots, they played them twice. The Raiders, they beat them. They'll play the Browns this weekend.
Oh, 3-win teams, yes.
Yes, 3-win teams. Yeah. Titans, Jaguars.
You know what's crazy about the Browns? They had 3 wins.
A lot of things. No. They paid Deshaun Watson after all that craziness.
No, I'm going to rock your world with this one.
Hey.
They got 3 wins.
It's against good teams.
One against the Steelers and one against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to beat teams in your division.
Yep.
Do they have any chance, though, Leroy, against the Miami Dolphins? Do the Dolphins have they obviously have a good chance of winning.
Here's what the chance is. I'm going to tell you exactly.
What's their
Jerry Jeudy is really good.
Yeah, that's
okay.
True.
And I would say that defensive line, Myles Garrett is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he makes me look like Dan Day.
Good.
And that, like y'all see, I'm telling you, like I literally, he could pick me up and swaddle me like a baby.
Big guy.
And I ain't no small dude.
Hey, yo.
I'm just saying, like, that dude is the real deal. And when you see people blocking him, you like, oh my goodness. But the way they've been getting beat is in the secondary, which is crazy because they got good players out there. So
all right, let me ask you this question as well.
Sure.
Say that Denver beat Cincinnati on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And Chargers beat New England on Sunday. That means the Dolphins will be out the playoffs. Will that affect the players' mindset?
You know why?
Will they do what the Detroit Lions did? Because that to me will prove a lot. Here's
what they're thinking right now.
Okay.
We want to have a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so all the other stuff, right? If you can have a winning record for the last 5 years, that's not like, I get everybody's talking about the playoffs and what you've done in the playoffs and whatever. That's no small feat in this league to have a winning record that many years in a row. It's just not. There's only a handful of teams that do it. And I could also, say this, right? I don't know, like in sports, if I'm ready to blow something up and you're talking about a 2-game difference. You see what I mean? I get 3-12, 3 and whatever. You're not even close. But I give you 9 wins, and 4 of those was without Tua, and 1 or 2 of them were a 60-yard field goal and something like that, where you were in those games. Can you go and say, let's blow it up and start over when
Leroy's 3 years?
Okay, but that's
streets are gonna need a body, Leroy. Somebody's gonna have to
again,
go. Because here's
listen,
what happens.
listen.
You go
I
9
understand.
and 8.
I
If
understand
I
what
go
people
9 and 8 as a GM, I can be like, with everything you're about to tell me,
here,
Tua missing 4 games. You know what I'm saying?
Vlad.
I'm just saying.
I understand how people think, and I'm not even disputing what you're saying. But what I am saying is this: that can you honestly say that you're that far away?
You're far.
No, okay, and I tell you this: give me one thing, and that is health. And I know it can't be promised, but you've had your stars hurt for the last 3 years at the end of the year. And so to say to an owner or to say to your fans that I don't care the circumstances in which we ended up this way, I just hate the fact that we're here, I'm getting rid of some people, and then you end up worse off than you were. Like, I just think there needs to be more of a conversation than streets need a body.
Well, if for 3 years, if you've been setting up for something and you've seen what's going on, like we talked about earlier when we started the show, Kansas City has suffered injuries as well, yet
Yeah,
they've been able. Look, other teams have suffered injuries as well, right? And
no,
they've been
I'm not even saying that, but
right.
but
So then now you got to look at, if you're trying to compete with the Baltimores, the Kansas Cities, and the Buffaloes of the world, and you're still not able to beat them, healthy or not healthy, you're still not able to
right.
beat them, and you're not getting. And when they suffer injuries, their second string or their third string are able to come along and produce for them, and it's not happening for the Dolphins.
I would say
So
this:
what?
it doesn't depend on the injuries. It depends on who. And I would say if there's one fault of team construction, I'm gonna give you two that I personally was a little upset about and had questions about. It was how you put together the offensive line and the fact that there's a couple of guys that you let walk for cheap that could have been impact players. And Van Ginkel it comes to
Well,
mind right away. But it's a harder thing to say something about Van Ginkel when your defense has been pretty good. Your defense has kept you in most of these games. So I'm not going to even sweat that too much. Although I look at it from the standpoint of both of your Russians are going to be out for a substantial amount of time. You knew this when the season started. You knew this before it was time to sign. And what you could have got Van Ginkel for to see the production he's having somewhere else. And what the production he had here, right? Now, that being said, they drafted Chop Robinson, so maybe they thought, okay, we got that covered. The offensive line for the last 2 or 3 years has been, and think of it this way. If you look at the successful teams in the league, there's two constants on that team: offensive line and quarterback. All the other pieces, you want to have quality players there. You would like to have, in the case of Baltimore and Philly, you would like to have that stud running the football. But the consistent portions of that team are offensive line and quarterback. And I think with all the moving parts, with injuries, with guys not performing that you've had on the offensive line, it's been covered up by Tua. But when Tua gets under pressure, it's not because Tua can't decide where to throw it. It's that he throws it so quick and still doesn't have time to throw the football. That is a problem with me. That's a serious problem because he already gets rid of the ball. You should have a great offensive line because your quarterback gets rid of it quicker than anybody in the National Football League.
Tua said that. Don't worry about the line. I get rid of the ball quick, but there's been some
even that's been quick.
And we're
So
gonna get to that.
that's what I have. The two things I have a problem with. Other than that, man, like you're gonna have some moving parts. They might move a receiver. They might do some other things because I really think they like Malik Washington. I do. Okay, so you're gonna have some moving parts there. The other thing is, y'all watch how they use Jonnu Smith the next couple of years.
You got him for one more year for sure. They got him
right. Oh, so. No. Hey, you look at the way, George Kittle, you look at the way some of these teams use Travis that tight end, right? Oh no, he's gonna be here.
All right, so we can look forward to that. We're going to get more into the Dolphins game, some of the parts that are working, some of the parts that aren't working. But up next, LeBron James always saying something interesting. He did it again yesterday. We'll discuss here on Tobin and Leroy, 560 WQAM.
I'm Jules Gay. Mac, I'm gone at.
For the longest time, Christmas Day was all about NBA all day, and yesterday the NBA was out and about, loud and proud with some great games. Probably the crown jewel was the 115-113 Lakers win over the Warriors. After the game, LeBron James feeling himself and basically courtside said, I love the NFL, but today is our day. Today is our day.
That's right.
NBA trying to take back Christmas from the
I ain't
NFL.
tried. They did, man. They laid the smackdown. They laid the
smackdown.
Yeah. Now, don't get it twisted. The ratings will probably not say it.
Will
but
not say that.
No, the ratings won't say it because everybody was watching Netflix. But if you were watching, if you're talking about just entertaining, like game
quality of viewing,
NBA from noon to 1 a.m. this morning, all the games were entertaining and great to watch.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm one of those guys that's a traditionalist. Like, man, I gotta, I'm an NBA guy on Christmas Day. I grew up my whole life. That's what you do. That's what you watch. It used to be the first time you could actually watch NBA games back in the day. I want to just watch NBA games all day. And then 1 o'clock starts creeping around and you go, man, there's a commercial on. Let's just flip on Netflix real quick. You're not going back until it's a blowout. And then you're just waiting.
No, I didn't know, bro.
You're waiting for the next game.
No, not really, bro. The games weren't that exciting.
So you're willing to watch the NBA over Beyoncé Knowles performing.
I took a shot.
Shabuzi.
I took a shot when the Netflix performance came on.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was time to go. I was, all right. I mean, I've seen many Beyonce performances before.
Netflix, were you having issues with your Netflix?
No issues with the Netflix.
I didn't have any issues, but some people are saying they were having problems with it buffering.
I didn't have no issues with the Netflix. So, but it was weird, though. Here's the thing, though. I would say this. Too many, like, mismatching. Like, they were just grabbing people from other networks and just putting them together. I would have thought they would have had an established
put a team together.
Yeah, an established team. And second, your Netflix, I would have assumed you would have had something better. It was just like a regular standard broadcast. Well, at least with the NBA, like they did things for the kids. They had Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse playing. Yeah, hey, listen, I wasn't impressed with it, but you know who was impressed with it? My little nephew, my little cousins. They loved it.
Right.
So I gave the NBA credit. Not only were the games entertaining, but they did something to try to get a different audience to watch.
Well, they had to.
No,
well, they tried to do. The NFL did it with the slime. They've been doing that for a couple of years now on Nickelodeon. So now the NBA is trying to do something.
Right. No, I give that, but like I said, I wasn't before you walked in. We're talking about LeBron's statement about like how he loves the NFL, but Christmas Day is the NBA, and we said we love the NBA games, like the NBA games from
the NBA games were all the. Well, here's the other thing. It did help that most of those in the NBA. I didn't see the last one.
That was good too.
All the way up until the Lakers, they were good games.
No, the last one was good as well. And the stars were out and the stars played.
So agree or disagree with me. Yesterday was the new age of how Christmas is going to be sports-wise. You're going to turn on the NBA game at first. You're going to turn to the NFL game. As soon as the NFL game isn't competitive, you're going to go back to the NBA game. As soon as the NFL game starts, you're going to go back to you're going to bounce back and forth to whatever's more competitive.
Here's what I would say.
But you're going to start with the NFL. NFL has priority.
The NBA has a unique built-in thing going on into their games. You're never out of it.
That's true.
And so with football, especially with the teams that we're playing, if they get a 10, 14-point lead, it's over. You can tell. And you can be off of those games a lot quicker. With the NBA, because I think Dallas was getting blown out.
Yeah, they can always.
And then Kyrie went Kyrie.
Right. That doesn't happen in football as much. So basketball is always gonna have let me see if they pull close. Oh, let me see if they. Then next thing you know, 7-point game, and you're like, okay, the football game is always gonna be 14 points, for a while.
And also, This was the NFL absolutely trying, definitely
I don't.
keep showing their
I got to
chest.
tell you,
But next year it's going to be very interesting because next year it will fall on a Thursday. Christmas falls on a Thursday, which would be a normal Thursday night game for them. I'm going to see if they're going to try to do a triple header, and that way it's better
right?
than having what they had this season because you
Vlad.
forced the 4 teams play. No, you forced the 4 teams play on Saturday, and then they played Wednesday, which was kind of
Vlad.
weird, bro. It was very
Right.
weird.
Vlad,
Right.
answer your own
Well, it's
question.
holiday
What is
sports.
NFL gonna
Holiday
do?
sports.
We're gonna do a triple header next season.
Yeah, Vlad.
I know, no. It's gonna be no
Vlad.
because actually it's going to fall on days where the competition may be better because you don't have that quick of a turnaround. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now
but
that
here's the
days-
deal. Here's what I would say, Vlad. I would say I would move the Thursday game earlier and only have one game. Especially, I do believe, like when the numbers come out,
Oh, it's gonna be great numbers.
not for football.
I think they Netflix.
That's
It's
the
first-
other. That's.
It's first.
I
It's
don't
first
like
trial.
I don't like chasing my sports. Right?
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
here's the deal. I have Roku. So I can go to DirecTV, I can go to Netflix, but you got to get in and out of the app.
Yeah, you do.
And so I can't just
That's
switch.
a good
I
point.
can't just switch up and down the channel for my football or my basketball. I got to get out of DirecTV and go into. So when I leave DirecTV and go to Netflix, and then I see that game is doo-doo, and then I go back to DirecTV, I'm like, okay, let me just chill with this basketball. That's what happened to me.
All right.
No, because reason why, if you notice, yesterday was the first time I think in a long time that every game on Christmas was on ABC.
They knew.
Right.
It wasn't like 2 games were
They
on
knew.
ESPN and
You
then
see what I'm
the
saying?
remaining.
So you ain't
games
got to
was
go
on ABC.
searching. You got
No,
to
yeah, right. No, they.
right.
I didn't peep that until later. I was like, oh, wait a minute, every game's on.
You know what else threw me off with this year? Playoff games in college on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go search a little bit.
It's the
So
age
y'all
that
need to
we
get
live
y'all
in.
advertising up because you almost lost me and I didn't even know why.
It's the age that we live in, and that brings up a good question, which I will ask you after this on Tobin and Leroy 560 WQAM.
I'm Bam in the bio.
It's time for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Valoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Can go to hell. Tonga Valoa. Dolphins quarterback. Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Our Tua. Tua gets to go up to Cleveland.
Yep, I'll be up there.
40, 50 degrees, and it's supposed to be nasty, rainy weather.
Yeah, I'll be up there.
So maybe a chance to quote unquote change at least
When do you
some
leave?
part of the narrative.
Saturday.
I
And,
do wanna ask
and
about
you want me to tell you something?
I'm
There was
excited.
nobody celebrating more than me when the game got flexed.
Yeah, I'm
'cause-
trying to think if there would be anybody that would celebrate more. Maybe a fan going to. Well, you're going to the
No.
game, so yeah, you.
No, but my flight leaves at 5 a.m. on
Oh,
Monday.
he didn't know. He thought it was before. Oh, you didn't know about this, Dan.
I know. I
Lee-
do. I've been listening.
Oh, Leroy thought it was an afternoon game at first. Didn't know it was a
Yeah.
night game, and then was thankful that it was flexed because obviously at the
Yeah,
time.
for
game.
the last game I went to was at 4, right? And by the time I got back to my room, it was 12, and I had to get up I squeezed it. I got up at 3:25. My flight left at 5, and I stayed at a hotel, near the airport.
Okay.
This time, I'm not going to rent a car. I'm just going because it's impossible to I don't feel like parking and then trying to find my car because
Yeah.
I don't care if you take a picture, if you whatever. After a game, you always looking for your car.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And we're going to get into that more. But right now, we do have some breaking news right here in the South Florida area. According to the Miami Herald, we are seeing that UM basketball coach Jim Larranaga to step down just 2 years after his historic Final Four run. Jim
Wow.
Larranaga.
Yeah.
Stepping down?
You know what I would say? It ain't got
No.
nothing to do with him.
Nah, the players.
It's the players, man.
Yeah, bro.
Last
The
year,
NIL deals. Yeah.
he had all those players, man, and nobody played. And it's disheartening when you see where college sports is going because now kids don't want to learn. And he's one of the best to do it. And when they were hungry and there was no NIL, you see how they played. Right? Then soon as everybody started having the attitude, I got to get mine, then you weren't out there playing as a unit. You were playing as an individual. And like guys just checked out. And so I feel bad for college sports when a guy who has put so much effort and so much work into doing things a certain way and bringing guys together and giving guys that were playing at universities a chance at success, how quickly that turned, right? To where you get an opportunity to come in on your NIL deal or your transfer portal, you have success, and then all of a sudden you thinking, now I got to go get mine, when you forget how, this all transpired.
It
So
says multiple sources say that he is stepping down. They haven't given any reasons other than the team is pretty bad. He's turned 75 in October. He's been coaching for 40 years, and he's under contract through the 26-27 season. This year has been rough. Nigel Pack, the only returning player, not starter, player from last year's team.
Yeah.
but you could kind of see, when they made that Final Four run, then the next year, guys kind of
last year, everybody
different
they
agenda.
They all had their own agenda. They were all thinking about the next step. They were all thinking about the league, and they weren't playing like
The
team that they were the previous 2
the
years.
thing that stands true in sports, and young college kids should understand this. If we have success, I have success. Very rarely are you going to go pluck a 25-point score from a team that wins 9 games, right? We call that in the business a looter in the riot. But you score 25 points a game for a team that goes to the Final Four. Now all of a sudden you're a lottery pick. Same points. And that's the message that gets lost in all of this, is that our success equals more success for me. And that's what's getting lost in college football. It really, in college sports, it really is. Especially in basketball. The farther you go in the tournament, the more eyes are on you. Look at the run. Does anybody remember the run of Steph Curry? Did we know who Steph Curry was before Davidson made that run in the
No.
We just knew it was Del Curry's son, but that was
right? No, but you didn't know.
We didn't even pay any attention all year until the tournament.
Right.
We're like, oh, Davidson.
And I don't understand why people don't understand that.
Oh.
Like guess what? We always talk about Alabama football. But Alabama basketball has stepped up and they've been playing. And you've seen more and more guys go to the league from the University of Alabama lately because of the success that they have had. Conversely, you see less guys coming from the blue blood states in North Carolina, Kentucky, because they haven't had as much success.
No, you still see some of them.
You still see them, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll never stop churning out
but not like
NBA
like they used to. Remember that Villanova run? How many guys are in the league from that team?
What, 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. 3 of them on the Knicks.
Right. So
Miami's
like our success, and especially in basketball, our success does more for my success. Not my success does more for our success. And that in basketball, that plays out incredibly. Not as much in football. Because I got to tell you how, what's his name that came from Buffalo, the Russian? How he
Rousseau? Greg Rousseau?
No. Greg Rousseau came.
Oh, you talking about Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, how he end up in Buffalo?
No. You said Russian and Buffalo. I'm like,
no. I'm talking about you. I'm at the University of
Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right. I'm thinking to myself, how did he end up at Buffalo? Right? Mm-hmm. Randy Moss ended up at Marshall, but he had, there
was problems. There were problems.
Right.
He liked trees.
He broke parole.
He liked trees.
He broke parole.
And he liked trees.
So he broke parole.
But so from that standpoint, yeah, it's a little bit different. You'll get those guys that are straight ballers that come from smaller schools. Josh Allen came Wyoming?
Yep.
Carson Wentz?
North Dakota State.
Yeah, you
That's
had
kind of a powerhouse division too.
What?
Though.
Who else? Was it Trey Lance?
Trey Lance with North Dakota State. Yeah, they're also in the finals of the FCS championship this weekend.
So, like, yeah, man, I think that's getting lost in college athletics, is that our success does more for my success.
Yeah, but that NIL deal, that they don't give it to the whole team; they give it to the player.
Again, but it.
Everybody has a price.
It gives you I think it gives you a false sense of empowerment.
Oh yeah.
Right?
No, I understand. But look, Leroy,
listen,
they tell you this. Your mom's calling you up and saying, why is this guy getting this money? You know you could score more than him. Why aren't you taking the ball more? Because I'm trying to play within the team. It's like, that guy's not playing with the team, and he just signed a deal for $600,000. And you say,
I got you. I don't know. Got you.
As a quarterback now,
who
you can go to college for 6 years and make nearly $10 million.
Right.
I know.
And you may never get that in the NFL because you may not even breathe
Correct.
a snap.
Correct. You
As
think?
a starter.
Wait. You think if Brock Purdy could have stayed in college and went to a major university one more year, he'd have made more money than he's made so far in the NFL?
Yeah, but he's about to get paid though.
About to, but would have already had.
Who made more money this year?
Keep in mind, he wasn't drafted up high, so that money would have been money he might have thought he would never saw.
That's a good question.
Let's look at this one.
Dan asked Leroy, who made more money this year, DTR or Cam Ward?
Cam Ward.
He signed a 4-year, $4.1 million contract.
Yeah, Cam made more.
Cam
more money. Right.
Cam probably made all of that with endorsements and everything.
Right. So think about that. So now you got these guys that could get one more year out, but here's the problem. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. I'm gonna say it to Vlad. Gonna understand it, but Dan Day definitely gonna understand this phrase. The reason why these kids are going to the league too early is mom and them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Somebody got an uncle who ain't never played a down of football telling them what's best for him.
Ain't nobody ever going to think, you know what you need to do? Most of the time, like, hangers oners. You stick around, man. Don't do this.
You know, one of the best things I did.
The worst pressure is on an athlete, a high school athlete, where mama and them and your girl and them.
No, your girl always wants you
combined to join forces, and then they're on your neck, they're on your head.
You know what's crazy? One of the best things that I ever did in my career was go to Michigan and get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Got away from mama and them.
Well, they didn't see me play football until highlights my sophomore year. Right? The only messages and the only things they were getting was what I was telling them, right? So I didn't have that pressure of my family. When I left early, they were the last to know, right? Mm-hmm. I made that decision because I was up in Michigan by myself, and I say I'm gonna make this decision by myself, So nobody really knew what was going on until the year of the Rose Bowl. And then they started realizing, oh, he's playing. Mm-hmm. By then, I had already been in college for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have
Leroy. He played in California.
Yeah. I didn't have the pressure of what I should be doing or what I should be given or what I was owed from other people outside of what was going on in that building. And in that building, it was different, right? In that building, you earn, you eat what you kill. So that was it. And I didn't have the people telling me what was owed to me or what I deserved or whatever. So my attitude towards getting playing time and playing was totally different than maybe if I had gone to an LSU, right? Yeah, where people who knew me and knew what I did in high school were calling me up or coming to the games and telling me I should be playing.
Yeah, they're just within arm's length too. That's easy.
Right.
For them. Yeah. Well, sources are saying Miami will hold a 1:30 press conference today where Jim Larranaga is expected to announce.
I hate that because there's not one person down here, no matter how that team was doing, to say they didn't like Coach L.
No, Coach L is beloved down here. You know how bad those kids got to be? That for the man after Christmas to be like, I'm done with y'all.
Legendary coach.
Like after Christmas, he was with his family and friends. He was like with his family and loved ones. He's like,
they probably telling him. They probably telling him, Dad, Grandpa,
I've never seen you this
Papa, you above this. You don't deserve this.
Forget them kids.
Just unhappy, and his family. I've never seen you this unhappy. What's going on? He said.
They lost to Presbyterian.
No, they beat Presbyterian. They lost to Mount St. Mary.
Mount St. They lost to one
not
of these.
Not even St. Mary. Not even St. Mary. Mount St. Mary.
St. Mary, I can understand.
St. Mary College is good.
They made the tournament. I've seen them beat 15 seeds and get knocked out. I'm cool with that. But Mount St. Mary?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Maryland.
Here's the thing. You know that
lost to school in Charleston.
Yeah,
he was sitting down
bad
eating his
self-esteem.
turkey or his ham or whatever his favorite
Absolutely,
food,
man.
and they just telling him, "Hey,
You don't
hey
need
man,
this.
yeah, right." And
It's
guess
all
what?
against
Here's
the
the crazy
rules.
thing. You want to know when a person is a good dude? That we haven't said one thing negative about him saying he's done.
Nope.
No, but you have to understand, and Dr. Toboggan just put this. He's been coaching his whole lifetime of coaching. For him to leave midway through the season, yeah, he's done so. He's done, like, this team might have taken the joy of coaching away from him. That's the only
He's
thing that would
75.
happen.
He's 75.
Yeah, I'm 70, but there's still joy, man. You
Hey,
don't
No,
go.
he's not coming back, most likely. When I say coming back to coaching,
Yeah, no. This is his last stop. I
Yeah,
believe.
he might be a consultant somewhere, but I
Right.
think they took the joy of coaching away from him.
Right.
And that's sad.
That NIL. That NIL. Real
You
quick,
think it's and I think it's
portal NIL. The whole just the state of
I think it has a lot to do with just the way that kids are in college now. Like the thing is that one of the things that I would always appreciate about the University of Miami, they be 3 or 4 deep. When you 3 or 4 deep at a position, especially at like running back or quarterback, you look at all the quarterbacks who played behind other quarterbacks, who played behind Heisman Trophy winners, and they all just sat and waited their turn, right? That doesn't happen in NIL now because for some reason they think they owed something. Like you're not better than the guy in front of you, right?
And it's easier to transfer now. You don't have to sit out a year, so that makes
Right,
it easy.
and you know another coach is promising you something.
Oh yeah.
Like, let me ask you this: how many coaches have promised DJ Uga whatever his name is, and he came or Uga Wogale? You know,
You know who he is.
I would call him DJ.
Ukulele?
Yeah, wait, he done played for everybody and then played for nobody at the same time in the same 6-year career. Right?
But he's stacking, though. He's
Right,
stacking.
that's what I'm
Not
saying.
anymore.
He stacked a good enough amount, though.
What is it? You're going to be in the UFL next year. Maybe. We'll see. Let's quick headlines from Doral Volkswagen. Choose from hundreds of new Volkswagen models in inventory. Remember, when it's Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. Some bowl games on tap today.
Over.
2:00, you get the Sports Bowl between Pitt and Toledo. 5:30, it's the Rate Bowl featuring Rutgers and K-State.
WRIGHT?
RATE, Rate.
Oh, Rate Bowl.
And then the 68, I don't know why it's 68, 68 Ventures Bowl and an OU one at 9, Arkansas State and Bowling Green. On that, we're going to take a break and be back on the Tobin and Leroy show after this, 560 WQAM.
I'm Jones Gacky, inviting you to join me.
Ooh, Beyonce! She did her thing on Netflix yesterday. And everyone was talking about it. Today. Not people talking. Was it just a Beyonce performance or was it super?
It was a Beyonce halftime performance.
Everybody went crazy about it, like on Christmas Eve and talking about it. And then I got here at work today and I was like, oh man, it's going to be a coronation of Beyonce, Queen of the World. And it hadn't been super like over the top. Like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I'm guessing it was Beyonce being Beyonce.
It's Beyonce being Beyonce.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is also great. Also,
Oh no,
it's always great.
No. Hey,
it's always great. The thing I hate now is that why are we making something out of nothing? So everything she did, everybody had some comments about whatever was going on. And why can't we just enjoy the performance?
Because people's lives are boring if they don't do anything like that.
Right. I got you.
Well, you got to get
it's
used
almost
to
like you can't do anything
without
having some ulterior motives or whatever.
That's like we have our holiday party. Sure, there's things I can nitpick, but I'm like, what? This is a free party they're giving us. I'm not going to complain.
So what is the trade?
I'm going to sit there with my cousin and we're going to cash in like 8 different tickets in 2 different minutes.
And we're going to drink Heinekens all day.
But you got to get used to Christmas Day is going to be like this, more of the same that you got yesterday. A lot of NBA and a lot of NFL.
I think the next 3 years will be like this because it's going to fall
on normal NFL days.
Like on the normal NFL days. What's going to be interesting will be in 3 years, like when that Sunday, if it falls on a Sunday, because usually years before, Dan and Leroy, if I'm not mistaken, because college football would be done by that time, they would have it on the Saturday before the Christmas Sunday so that they wouldn't compete with the NBA. But now that they don't give a rat's ass, it's going to be, I want to see if they're going to do a full week slate of scheduled games on Christmas Day.
I'm wondering because people don't realize this. There's 2 days college does not play.
Monday?
Christmas.
Oh.
Christmas.
And if New Year's, the Aloha Bowl used to be on Christmas.
If New Year's falls on Sunday.
Yep. They do not do that.
They won't play their games on Sunday.
Yeah, they're not messing with them.
No. I don't know if it had to do with the NFL, but I remember playing the Rose Bowl on a Monday on January 2nd.
Nice.
That was nice.
Yeah. I do want to ask you this. Let's say next year on Christmas Day, noon, the Miami Heat play
the New York Knicks
because the Knicks always do that. Your Miami Heat playing the New York Knicks. Also at noon, let's just say the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers are playing on another channel. Who are you watching?
What's the channel though? You got to tell me the channel.
Netflix. Let's just replay.
I'm watching the Heat.
What do you say? 305-567-0560. It's Heat.
Now
all the way.
put it on. You don't want to see Jordan Love. You don't want to see all the excitement. The playoff implications.
Like people said, they're not trying to search.
Right. I told you what the problem I had was. It wasn't that I didn't want to watch football. It was the fact that basketball, the game's not over till it's over. Right? You can go farther along in a basketball game before you realize it's over, if it's a blowout, than you can a football game. And so when you leave that football game saying this team don't have a chance, you're probably not going to go back. Whereas basketball, you're always going to keep a little corner eye open to see if somebody got hot from 3 or they went on one of the 22 runs.
Here's a great example. I was at a Christmas party last night, and the game was on. And now everybody's having conversations, talking, everything like that. But every so often, the volume was up, so you're hearing Mike Breen commentate, and then you hear a bang, and then you start looking. Oh, the game is close. Oh, the Lakers and Warriors are going at it, and then oh my God, when the player Steph is making a play, LeBron's making a play, then everybody's stop doing what they were doing and focus on the last 5 minutes of the game. And the game was a great ending.
That doesn't happen in football.
It doesn't happen in football. Like if they're making a comeback, when the Patriots was making that 28-3 comeback, it took a little while until people finally were like, "Oh, they're down one possession. They can actually
Right.
tie this game.
Right.
Okay, let's watch this." And in basketball, like you said yesterday, when Kyrie went crazy in the second half, you could watch a game and be a 20-point lead, and all of a sudden, within 8 minutes, it's an 8-point game, and they're like, "All right, now I'm really interested in this game."
Right. Let's see what happens. But here's the other thing is that I'm making one even. What if the Dolphins are playing there, so the game's on CBS, and then you have a Heat game?
That's not even a competition.
What I would say is this. What I would say, here's the other, but here's why, Dan.
Tell me the lie.
Here's why.
You're gonna watch a meaningless early season.
No. That's where I'm going. Is that the other thing you also have to understand is that a lot of times the football game is playoff implications this time of year, and the basketball game is on like game 35.
Wait. Let me ask you this. Okay,
Go
I
ahead.
like this. All right, I like this.
And
Heat. Okay. Not too long ago, we had Dolphins Packers. Say you had a Dolphins Packers Christmas Day game versus Heat Celtics.
And where are the Dolphins?
Dolphins are at home.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
What's their record?
The same situation they were a couple of years ago when Tua caught the concussion. It's basically the same thing. The Dolphins were trying to get into the playoffs. They needed the wins. They're playing the Packers.
I'm watching football.
I'm
watching football.
Interconference game, but
I'm watching football.
You still, but it's Heat.
Yeah,
Celtics.
because because it's Heat Celtics in December.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like the ramifications of the game also have more importance. So you're talking about end of the season football playoff implications versus a rivalry game in basketball when they're probably going to play again later on in the year.
Okay, so the college games this weekend weren't the greatest games, nonetheless. Did you watch the NFL game or the college football playoff games this past weekend? What did you have more of a keen eye on?
The college playoff games, but I was off pretty quick.
Okay, because they weren't very good games.
Right.
But if
which makes me to my point. All these people that's begging to get in, right? All these teams that said they should have been in, the teams that were in got blowed out.
But if you have a really good college football playoff game on at the same time as a really good NFL regular season game on, which one are you watching?
I'm watching the game that has the higher
that's fair.
Playoffs.
Like
I would keep an eye on the NFL game, but I'm definitely watching the college game because that's playoff.
That's what happened that weekend because the college games were bad, the NFL games were good. The Texans, Chiefs.
So once I left the college game and I saw where these games were going, right? They were on my periphery.
But then yesterday was the opposite. The NBA games were good and the NFL games were bad.
You know what that is? That's called being a damn sports fan.
That's also called having so many options. That's why people think the viewership is down.
This is my favorite. We all have family members probably that grew up on farms and they woke up at the butt crack of dawn and worked until the sun went down and went home and went to bed and just worked their fingers to the bone. And we're not complaining. I got to sit on my couch, get out of the app, get into another app so I can watch it. Oh, that's too much. That's just too much.
Yeah. You know why? You know why, Dan? Because I have options. If that was the only game, my butt would be on Netflix. But I got different sports I can watch. I can move from side. So whoever piques my interest, that's who's getting it.
No disrespect, Leroy. Back in the day when you were playing football, if the only game on was Michigan State, and you were whooping Michigan State 56-7, guess what I didn't turn it off of? I watched that Michigan State game.
Why? You know why?
There was no other option.
You don't want to watch. How many times are you going to watch Sound of Music?
I hate the Sound of Music.
They play a Christmas Story. Christmas Story all day.
Yeah, there's only so many times that he could watch that. The people could watch that.
But we see what Dan is saying is that back in the day, you turn on football and you turn on sports, and that's what you had. You didn't have a whole bunch of options. So you just watched that game because it was football. But I'm saying that I have options and I want to be entertained. And those playoff games were not entertaining, but I did watch like the beginnings of them, right? But then once that was it, I'm like, okay, what NFL we got going on? What basketball we got?
Yeah,
going on?
now, yeah, because you had basketball, you had
Right.
NFL, you had boxing heavyweight title match. Like you had college basketball, women's and men's.
Right.
Yeah, we had options. That's the great thing about sports.
So like when people say the ratings are going down, I would say like
That's a lie.
first of all, here's the other thing.
More pie to be had.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Here's the other thing though. Well, in this, it's one of those things that you have to, as a business, as NFL or NBA or whatever, you're on a curve now. You can't say how things were 10 years ago when all there was on Christmas was basketball. Now, because there's other options, it doesn't mean that your sport is getting less viewership. It just means there's more options. So the top or the best games watched won't have those large numbers, but you'll still be above everybody else because you put out a good product on that day. You just have to put everything in context. And I think that's, when people come out and say, oh, the numbers are down from 10 years ago, or the number, you're not telling the whole story.
True.
So, like, yeah, I love, and guess what?
The same story.
As a sports fan, I love the fact that I don't have to be stuck in a garbage game. And sports is such that you can't control that, right? You can't control. You can put two teams that you thought were going to be formidable, but you don't know that you're going to get a 31-2 game. Right?
Brutal.
You don't know that you're going to get. The Kansas City game was relatively close until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Which game? Yesterday's?
Yeah.
Like that was a blank stop.
No,
that was
they had listen. They had a comfortable lead, like, but
yeah,
it was still
13-0.
It was a one-score game going into the fourth.
Was it?
Yes.
Was it 16?
Yes.
All right. Well, we saw some good teams playing yesterday.
You had
options.
Oh,
Next,
yeah, the NBA. Hey, let me tell you something. NBA, if it was a movie, you getting 5 stars because it was a what 13-hour movie, and a beautiful
masterpiece.
And that's coming from a football guy. So if you keeping me away from football, that you did your thing.
Lots of storylines, lots of options yesterday. Next, Leroy, Vlad, I'm going to give you some options, and I want to hear your thoughts on them. Next, it is the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Dolphins looking to keep their winning ways going after beating the 49ers in Cleveland. It's supposed to be, when I say nasty weather, rainy and somewhat chilly. Cold for Miami, but not really cold weather, between the 40s and 50s. Trying to win out this season, possibly keep their playoff hopes alive. They need a lot of help. We're hoping the Dolphins can just make the playoffs. But right now, I want to go through. We saw some playoff, not only contenders, but Super Bowl contenders yesterday. And I want to kind of go through it with Leroy and Vlad right now. Who's a real contender for the Super Bowl and who's just a pretender? I'm not even going to ask because we already know Kansas City's a true contender.
Yes.
Is there anyone that's going to doubt that?
No. They're a true contender.
You got to figure
they are. Well, let's put it this way: they are the contender until somebody moves them. Then they're on top.
Are the Bills true contenders for the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
You think they can clip the Chiefs at some point? Maybe with, well, they're not going to get home field advantage because Kansas City clinched home field yesterday.
I just think that they play in the same circumstances. They play in the same situation, but I'm never going to, as of right now, you cannot bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. But you still think they're contenders?
I think they're contenders. They get
well, isn't it aren't you looking at this way? The team that in the AFC, if they do beat the Chiefs, they knocked off the monster, you knocked off the king, so therefore you will become the favorite because you're the team that took out the king.
But the great thing about, well, yeah, Buffalo beat them. So
no, but what I'm saying is if you're able to beat them in the postseason, that's why you can always, when we talk about quarterbacks, and the reason why this guy always gets his name mentioned is because he went up there, he went into the Patrick Mahomes Invitational, and he beat Patrick Mahomes, and that's Joe Burrow. And that's why his name was always going to be up there until somebody beats them.
Right. Well, no, look, we putting Kansas City up there. Same way we did with New England.
They're the champs.
That's just it. Okay, they're the champs. But are there teams that, as currently constructed, have a chance to go into Kansas City and beat them? I would say there's only two.
The Bills and are you saying
and
the
Ravens?
You're saying the Ravens have a chance because of the running game and the electricity of Lamar Jackson?
I just think here's what I think about the Ravens, and here's what I think about Buffalo.
Still that guy wearing 50.
But no, I know, but we're just talking about teams who have can compete with them. That's it.
No,
I'm not saying they're gonna beat them.
Compete with them, right? Yeah.
But that's all we're talking about. We ain't saying teams that's gonna go in there and beat them.
Yeah, the two teams, because when you got two MVP type players like Josh, but Buffalo has with Josh and Baltimore has with Lamar, you always feel like
here's what I would say.
He can win.
Every time Buffalo has played Kansas City, the game has been close.
Most of the games are always close when you play Kansas City.
But I would say this, and this is gonna sound crazy. But because of the run game and the ability to kind of suck the air out of the football, I'm more inclined to say Baltimore is more of a threat than Buffalo.
Okay.
I mean, I just think that when you can turn it, when it's 15 degrees and you can turn around and hand it to that dude, or your guy can take off and run. Now, I'm only saying this because I think Baltimore's run game is better than Buffalo's. Buffalo does run the ball well.
Ooh, yeah.
So they do have two schemes that could go in there and keep the game close and have a chance to win. That being said, 15 on the other side.
I got you.
And as Vlad said, we talking about can compete with them. If they played in a game, I don't care what the point spread is. Don't care. You have to take Patrick Mahomes.
We've seen it. Never in the history of football have you ever seen a man in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
That's it. Because we all watched that game.
Right.
And after 5 years now, it seems like it's 4 years out now. We don't have to be prisoner of the moment. That's one of the 3 greatest games of all time in the NFL history.
Yep.
Never have we ever seen, touchdowns, another touchdown answered like back and forth like a heavyweight fight.
And then
And
13 seconds left. You thought it was going to overtime.
Boom.
Yeah.
Once he threw that touchdown, was it to Gabe Davis? All right, Buffalo's got it. Kansas City's out. That is it. And then we saw the man in 13 seconds throw 2 passes to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they hit the game time field goal, and then he throws the touchdown to win in overtime. And then now it's like, where is there anything this man can't do with time left
Again, I'm not saying that if either of these 2 teams play Kansas City, I'm taking them.
But they got a shot.
But I'm saying that as far as the AFC is currently constructed, the only 2 teams I give a puncher's chance with the style of football they play and being able to play in that weather is Buffalo and Baltimore. Now, I'll say this. The thing that worries me about Baltimore is that they've never had that game that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have had with Kansas City. So when they go to Kansas City, they're going to be on familiar turf where they say, we know how to compete with this team. Let's go get it done. Right? Baltimore hasn't quite gotten over that hump yet as far as knowing or seeing themselves go out against a team like that and perform under those circumstances.
We are going to be very excited to see how these playoffs play out. Might get surprised, maybe might not be so surprised. We know the AFC is wild and wacky. Could the NFC pose any type of a threat? We'll talk about that next on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM.
Afternoons in
So yesterday was Christmas. Everyone sat back with the fam, the friends, drank their coquito, their eggnog, ate too much, watched some bad NFL as far as competitiveness. Andy Reid in a Santa Claus costume, watched some very competitive, good NBA games. And now today, back to work. We are breaking news. First, Miami basketball coach Jim Larranaga expected to step down. A press conference coming at 1:30. And just a couple of minutes ago, the Dolphins going to waive linebacker Shaq Barrett, which means if he clears waivers tomorrow, he will be eligible to play for any other team. If he does not, and a team claims him, then he'll be ineligible to play this season. Shaq Barrett could be back in the league as soon as Saturday.
That's fine. Like,
Dolphins gave him a Christmas present.
not
Is any
like
team hopefully gonna-
here. You got too many needs and moving parts to be playing a petty game. Right? Now, I do believe that you should have the player should have some type of, I don't want to say punishment, but you can't sign a contract and then not show up and then want to land softly, right? There should be some ramifications of that because the team, that counts against their cap.
Don't you feel as though Shaq Barrett kind of got off scot-free in this instance if he does clear waivers?
But here's what I want to be careful with. I don't know the reasonings behind it, right?
But it still hurt the Dolphins.
It hurt the Dolphins, yes. Or did it?
Well,
you see what I'm saying? And I think that's the point where everybody got to, is that we're sitting here holding up a roster spot and money to a guy that how much better is he going to make our team anyway. But what they did do is basically they stopped him from being able to go make money all year. That's his punishment. So even if he goes and signs with somebody and clears waivers, right? Now, instead of the amount of money he was going to make with the Dolphins, he's going to make a portion of that. And who knows what your situation is going to be from here on out anyway. So could you imagine what they signed for, like 5-10 million?
I want to say it was 8 million.
8 million?
No, because DBJ signed for 3 million. I want to say it was 8 million.
OBJ?
DBJ. No, yeah. DBJ he's making another run in the league, man. You know, he's going to call this game tomorrow on Sunday.
I think the Carpets are doing pretty well. I don't think he needs
I thought maybe, he's going to call the game Sunday for the Hurricanes right here on 560 WQAM 330, and then maybe try to get back in the league. Now, I want to say Shaq Barrett, Odell Beckham Jr., 3, and I want to say Shaq Barrett was an $8 million deal.
So think about this. 8 million plays, so say 18 weeks, he was making approximately 450,000, huh?
7 million.
So say 400,000 a week, right? So now you go from 400,000 a week to now making the minimum, which is probably about 50 or 60. That's punishment, right? Because if you're willing to come back and go and make 10% or a little more than 10% of what you could have made, that's punishment. So he's not getting off scot-free. He's not making the $8 million or $7 million he was going to make. So from that standpoint, maybe the Dolphins said, we're going to hold on to his rights as long as we can so he can't go out there and get another nice contract to make up for what he, didn't come and make here.
Also made a scramble a little bit.
Yeah, but and here's the other thing.
It's not a $9 million deal now. It just keeps it's $9 million.
Okay, so right. So it's 500K. So imagine going from 500K to 100. Let's put it in layman's terms. You make 1,000 a week. you ain't happy with your job won't release you. Then when they release you, you can only make $500 a week.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah, that's pain. That's the pain in itself. So it got to the point where like maybe the Dolphins said, we're not gonna just let you go and go ahead on and resume your play without some financial penalty. And that's the financial penalty right there.
Well, we'll see what happens with Shaq Barrett. If he does clear waivers tomorrow, he will be eligible to play for every team in the NFL. Let's get to headlines from the Doral Volkswagen. Choose from hundreds of new Volkswagen models in inventory. Remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. And before we do anything else, Leroy, can we get a weather report from the Mesman and Dover Law Firm, your accident attorneys.com? Free consultations 24/7, 866-954-MORE. Give it to me.
I'm just looking out of the windowplex. It's mostly cloudy. Winds are light, 5-10 miles an hour, probably like 75-ish. And I would say the winds are coming out of the I got to get a closer look. See the wind.
Go ahead.
When it's too cloudy, when it's super cloudy, when it's super cloudy, I got to get over to the window.
He has like bowl games on today. Get a couple basketball games. We got a Heat game later on tonight, Leroy, but people are going to be out and about today. They need to know where the winds are coming from and what miles per hour they possibly could be coming from.
When they're not moving very fast and the clouds are moving out of the east. Yep. I would say easterly breeze. When it's mostly cloudy, it's really hard to tell which way the clouds are moving. So, but all that, it looks like you might get there might be a chance of a shower because, anytime it's this cloudy and the winds are coming out of the east or the south or anything like that, you got some additional moisture, especially when it warms up a little bit. So,
man's a golfer. And I'm going to keep that in mind as I take my walk to Jensen's liquor store later on today.
He's right. The winds are going east, 9 miles per hour, 77 degrees.
I don't ever check.
Partly
facts.
cloudy.
He is facts. They call him facts.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, when you get up early in the morning to go golfing, right? You need to know what them conditions are. You need to know how to dress. You need to know if I need to bring my umbrella, my rain suit. You need to know, what kind of shots I'm gonna hit on the golf course. I'm just telling you, like get used to it. I'm used to it.
Sources say Jimmy Butler prefers a trade before the February 6th trade deadline. The Heat are in Orlando and take on the Magic tonight at 7.
Here's my question for you guys.
Go ahead.
I know we've touched on the topic.
We touched on it.
Yeah, but we need to delve into it. I'm asking you, Heat fans, and you two guys are Heat fans as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are you right now in the Jimmy situation? Or is it to the point where it's like, you know what? Maybe time has run its course. Maybe it's time for an amicable breakup. Maybe it's time for both parties just to leave. It's been a run. It's been a great run. We've achieved the highest of highs, but we haven't achieved the ultimate high.
Yeah.
But maybe it's time, as you are further along in your career and as Pat's getting further along in his career in life, maybe it's just time for us to reload.
Here's what I would say.
Change course.
Here's what I would say. When they didn't extend him, to me, that told me all I needed to know. Because without extending him, you really don't want to be on the hook for $52 million in 1 year because it makes it more difficult to trade him. So by not extending him, I always thought that we would be in this moment, right? With stuff circling, because you don't want him to opt in. And think about this, if you don't want him to opt in for 52 or whatever that may, I think it's 52, right?
Around that amount, yes.
If you don't want him to opt in for that, the only way you can save money is by extending him. And if you could have extended him, you would have did it already. So the fact that you weren't going to do it, I always thought this was, going to happen. Now, what doesn't help is Jimmy being out. Now, the Heat have done two things this offseason. Two things that people need to pay attention to. They got longer and younger. Right? They got longer and younger.
Right. And I want to ask you, because of them seeing the difference in Tyler this season, that you have
That helps because it could have very well been Tyler.
You've already given Bam the extension. That's
Tyler's
your
got the
foundation.
extension.
He's El Capitan for your team, right?
Right.
You got Tyler. You drafted Triple J. You have Nico.
Right.
You have Pelly. Is it maybe that Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and the Heat brass have seen, okay,
they've seen enough of those young guys to say, we got something special here.
We have something special, and maybe we need another younger star.
Right.
That's got
around the same age or a little bit older
than got a lot of juice, right. A lot of juice,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of thread on the child.
Yeah.
Is it time to do that?
Right. No.
For the Heat fans that want to get rid of Jimmy Butler or want to trade Jimmy Butler off, my one warning to you is this. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
Here's what I would say. I have no question, none, in Jimmy's ability.
Okay.
None whatsoever. However, it's a different basketball team when Jimmy is playing and when everybody else is playing. It's a different basketball team.
Oh, really? Because their record is very similar that it was to the past 2 years right now.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I would just say you don't know when he's going to miss games, right?
You also don't know what you're going to get if you trade him. But you do know what Jimmy's capable of.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't want to sound negative when I say this, right?
But go ahead and lay it on us.
People are always saying, but when this time comes, Jimmy's going to be this. And when this time comes, Jimmy's going to be that. Jimmy's 35 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? What the hell's wrong with y'all? Like, it don't get, you
not
don't
getting
get
younger.
Yesterday's Jimmy ain't today's Jimmy.
Fact.
Stop it.
But what do they always say about Pat Riley? He's in win now mode. What gives you the best chance to win now with this team?
A healthy Jimmy.
There you go.
Oh, well, he ain't healthy.
He can get healthy, though. That's the thing.
You make it. See.
You want Jabari Smith Jr.
Wait. Here's what you can't do in sports. Stop doing this. I hate when fans do this.
I get it. You're right.
When your team ends the season last year, you assume what you're going to do the following year. You're doing it with Jimmy right now. But when we get to January, when we get to the playoffs, when we get here, you can't live your life on when we get there, this is going to happen. You need to know certain things.
I'm saying this. You're counting on Jimmy to get healthy.
Okay. And what if he doesn't? Then what?
Then you crap out.
Are you willing to risk? Because here is what the ramifications of getting that wrong are. Jimmy opts in for $52 million, or he opts out and goes somewhere and you get nothing for him. Are you willing to risk that?
Are you in win now?
Because wait, I know players that if it don't happen the way they want to, get the bubble guts more.
Oh, I know. No, best case scenario, Jimmy gets healthy, makes another run in the playoffs. Worst case scenario is he opts in and doesn't care at all next year, and you're on the hook for $52 million with a player who has bubble gut.
Again, here is the deal. Okay. You can say all of these things, but here's what I'm going to put out to you. If you run the Miami Heat, as great as Jimmy's been, you have been in the same spot for the last 3 years. And what you have hoped for is Jimmy Butler to be playoff Jimmy. You cannot run a franchise like that. Okay? Because when it goes south, you're going to be on the hook and going to be in no man's land. No man's land is a whole bunch of money paying out and no results on the court. So, Jimmy's 35.
That's the other issue.
I'm not faulting Jimmy for being 35. But
that's in birth.
For you guys to think that 30-year-old Jimmy,
he's not even 35. You wrong, guys. He's 35 in birth years.
Okay.
Remember, he played for Tibbs.
He played for Tibbs.
He's actually 41.
So it's not that I don't think Jimmy is any good.
Right.
That's not. But what I'm saying is a smart organization doesn't let it play out to where you have coming off the bench D Wade.
So dollars to donuts. Does Jimmy Butler get traded before the deadline in February?
It looks like yes.
Most likely yes. Vlad?
It looks like yes.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy's gone, B. And you got to listen. Here's the thing. With all you saying, you're right. And this is a really delicate situation for
it is because it has nothing. It has nothing to do with Jimmy's ability, but it has to do with Jimmy being 35, having a $52 million bill at the end of the year.
It's not about Jimmy's ability.
And you decided not to extend him.
But Dan said it's about Jimmy's availability, and that's another point. But I'm going to go with the Bill Belichick philosophy. I'd rather let go of you a year early than keep you a year late.
You know what?
I'd rather do that.
But
because at least with the nucleus that you've shown me right now, you've got a young nucleus, something to be excited for.
You don't want to play none of them, but that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole different story. And but
Dan, let me ask you this. Here's how you need to look at this situation. What is the best case scenario keeping Jimmy Butler?
Well, best case scenario, and I'm being 100% honest with you, what happened 2 years ago, you make it to the NBA Finals.
That's hope.
But wait. They were a 8 seed, right?
Yeah,
they
playing.
And they went
on fire.
Okay. When was the last time an 8 seed made the finals?
The Knicks.
Right, a long time ago.
1999. It was just
right. Do you understand?
Right season.
Do you understand? What you're hoping for has only happened twice in 30 years.
Oh no, I'm just
okay. Now that's your best case scenario for something to happen for the third time or the second time in 3 years.
But it is
that's your best case. Hold on. Now, what is your worst case scenario?
I told you, $52 million case of bubble guts.
Okay.
Oh no, not even playing. You don't even make the playoffs. You're not even playing
this season.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, you're a playing team again.
Okay. Now, weigh the two options. Let's not even talk about the $52 million. Weigh the two options. Weigh the two options. Weigh the two options, and then tell me: are you better off maybe trying to shake it up a little bit?
Or are you better off with a known talent that can lead your team to the finals?
No, did you just hear what we talked? You're hoping for something to happen for the second time in 3 years. That's only happened. That would be 3 times in 30 years.
But the variables you're eliminating it's basically the same team with the same coaching staff and the same organization. You're ignoring those variables.
No, what? What do you mean? No, I'm not.
So you're not?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that, yeah, it happened, but that's an anomaly. That's not the standard. Okay? So you're telling me this team, okay, with the hopes of Jimmy playing some of his best basketball again, you're making an assumption.
Once again,
that's fine. That's
best
fine.
Case scenario.
That's fine. Best case scenario. This team can compete with Boston, Cleveland, right?
New York,
New York. Yeah, you throw New York in there.
Milwaukee.
Right.
They're playing well.
So you're saying this team could compete
Orlando.
with that?
Can't even beat Orlando with their C team. What happens when all those guys get back healthy?
That C team the next night went and beat Boston too. So let's not get too
Okay,
crazy
well,
about
I'm just saying.
Wait,
that.
okay.
Best case scenario, worst
Not making a good point for yourself.
Me?
When you say that C team beat the Boston Celtics the next night, which means if you can't beat Orlando with their starters being out,
I'm saying,
what's going to happen when they do come back?
I'm trying to say don't discount.
Not discounting, but that's also proving that the East has gotten better while you remain the same.
What I'm saying is this: best case scenario, NBA Finals. Worst case scenario,
but your best case scenario is an anomaly that happened 2 years ago, and so you can say like you that's not the norm. You're making your best case scenario seem like a norm that happens on on the regular, and it's only happened twice in 30 years.
And that's why I'm saying this: best case scenario, worst case scenario. Then there's reality somewhere in the middle.
What's reality?
Reality, you're a 6 seed and you make it into the playoffs and you get a first round.
You think this team is going to be a 6 seed?
Yes.
They're
6 seed right now.
Vlad, we do this every year in December. Right?
So Jimmy's a goner. Is that what we're saying?
I'm just look, I don't know that. But here's what I do know.
You're saying it would make
the reasons that everybody is giving me to tell me let's go on another Jimmy run. I'm saying if you run the Heat and you sitting around waiting for the Jimmy run, you ain't doing your damn job.
I understand. I'm just trying to get to the bottom and trying to see best case, worst case, and how everything's going to go.
I said this all year.
But if the man don't want to play,
there's your two best players in this city. Their time and their talent was going to get to the point where the troubles weren't going to be worth it, or the constant stories or trolling or all of that. It was going to get to a point that people were going to start backlashing. Like there was going to be backlash. People are not going to feel it anymore. And that's happened with Jimmy. That's happened with Tyreek. The unfortunate thing was they gave Tyreek the money. The Heat made sure to like, all right, yeah, well, maybe if you do this, yeah, you do that. Yeah, you have a contract that's guaranteed next year, but we'll see about giving the extension, because we always say it. Once the production starts waning, the problem's not worth it anymore.
Well, that's what we're saying.
Hey,
there could
Zachary, buddy, best case scenario, let the season play out with Jimmy and let Jimmy walk next year.
Yeah, but Jimmy can opt in.
Jimmy could opt in and stick it with a $52 million bill. Right, that makes it more difficult to move. So what I'm saying to you is the Heat are weighing all of the options. Yeah, okay? Absolutely. They're trying to get something. All right? If they're going to trade him at all, they're trying to get something. If you let him walk and get nothing for him, you know what the first comments are going to be? The first comments are going to be, why didn't you trade Jimmy and you let him walk for nothing?
In all fairness, the way these contracts are now, in order for the player to get what they want, it's going to have to be a trade. That's why LeBron was traded. LeBron could have signed as a free agent, but they had to do the trade. So in fairness, for Jimmy to get also what he wants, it's probably gonna have to be a trade, so that
a sign and trade, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you can do a sign and trade. Can you give him an extension now and then trade him, or would you have to wait until
you give him an extension now? I don't think you'll be able to trade him until like maybe sometime after.
Right. So that's where we are now. I don't think you can do a sign and trade.
That's why I think the Heat it's gonna happen, bro.
Sticky for the Miami Heat. There's another star in town that could be seeing a one-way ticket soon. We're gonna talk about that next on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Happy December 26th, the day after Christmas.
Kwanzaa, baby.
Second night of Hanukkah, the beginning of Kwanzaa.
Vlad Kwanzaa.
And we're joined by Jennifer Figueroa.
Yay!
Hello. Happy
Feliz
belated.
Navidad, JFig.
Feliz Navidad.
We got the whole combination. We got 2 black people, 2 white people, 2 people with hair, 2 people with no hair.
United Nations
I
of
am
radio
technically
stations right now.
Hispanic, so
Okay.
Okay. Lighter shade of brown. Okay.
I mean,
we have more
let's put it this way.
diversity here, okay?
Let's put it this way. If somebody from Jamaica was walking down the street next to me, they'd go look at 2 black people.
True. That is true.
Just saying.
Nonetheless,
I know that you're Cuban. Okay.
since Figgy is here, let's do a little bit of silly sauce real quick. Coquito and eggnog, overrated or not overrated?
Wait,
I'm
which one is
Coquito all the way
overrated?
though.
Either one.
Coquito, isn't that rum and
It's got a little bit of yeah, it's got rum
Guess
and
from, yeah.
Cremas for Vlad.
but you know, Coquito and eggnog, it's the holiday kind of sweet, creamy
no,
drink.
I'm out. You can't alcohol
Coquito's
and
good.
cream.
Don't turn it down before you have it.
I did.
We tried it. We talked about it. Didn't I take it?
Leroy, I agree with you,
Listen,
except
if
for
you-
that. But it is the holidays. And when it comes holiday time, it's all right to. I know,
But
for
it's something about
So-
creamy drinks.
No, I'm with you, bro. Like creamy drinks shouldn't get me. Like no, it does no. Mm-mm.
It don't like I don't know. I'm not gonna say it messes up my stomach, but it just
But yet I love rum raisin ice cream. I don't get it.
But that's wrong. Yeah, that's different.
I love rum raisin ice cream, but can't drink alcohol.
raisin,
with
rum
like
nut,
Bailey's.
Rum
Yeah,
nut, yeah.
yeah.
I can't. Now I will say this: there have been times when I've been on golfing trips
yeah.
and it's been a little chilly. You just get some black coffee and put a little Bailey's in it. It checks all a little sweet, little kick, little so yeah. But that's it.
Yesterday.
Okay.
But that's it. But eggnog,
I'm not a fan of
it feels
Bailey's.
like eggnog makes me feel like I'm drinking melted ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the creamy drinks made me right.
I'm Maybe that's Jimmy Butler's problem. He's been hitting the Coquito and eggnog this holiday season, and that's why he
All
can't
I
play.
know is this:
Do you
if the man
think?
misses another game today, all of a sudden he has a Miami Open flu, because that's the same thing that happened last season.
I
Remember?
think
That's all I'm
one of the
saying.
things that has us in this position is that you can't control injuries. So when you take days off and then get hurt,
Can't
right?
have those things back.
Right, exactly. So I think that had Jimmy, and I don't know if this to be true, if he is hurt that much, that's a whole nother question, a whole nother situation. But if he's taking some days, you know what I mean? I could go, but I'm not. And then you really get hurt. He hasn't played 60 games in how many years?
Leroy, a DMP is a DMP no matter what way you
Right.
step.
But how many he hasn't
he
played
hasn't played.
60 games in a minute, right?
Oh, never.
So you understand all the things that you talking about when we start talking about the facts of this situation, you're not helping your case. Like, so you talking about doing this for a guy who hasn't played 60? They trying to get guys to play 70 games. He hasn't played 60. So how do you, but I want to say from your standpoint, because I get people love Jimmy and I'm not going to deter you from that. When he's on, it seems like unstoppable. Okay. But when you talk about the amount of games that he's played, right? Does that play into like, oh yeah, you think he just saving it up for the player? Man, when you get older, you can't save up nothing.
No.
So, like, does that play a role in this?
I think the Miami Heat organization is going to look at the best offer they can get and see if that's worth the squeeze.
No, I'm asking you.
Me?
Jimmy.
You,
Heat
Dan Day.
I keep
fan.
him. I've already told you I keep him.
You keep him
with everything included. Yes, with all the craziness, with all the
you just want to sound good because
hanging out with them.
I could put those same situations in a real life situation, like with a car or something like that, and you would be rats off a ship quickly.
So are you rats off a ship right now of Jimmy right now, Leroy?
I think they need somebody who's gonna play.
So you're rats off a ship of Jimmy, Leroy.
I mean, you gotta be.
Yes. I've asked the question. It's just a yes or no answer.
I thought when this season started and he started the season, I'm like, we getting that Jimmy, right? And then he start missing games. So we back to the same. Every year is gonna be the same. Here's the thing. I don't know what games he's gonna miss. Is it gonna be the games that he determines are important or not important, or the games that the Heat determine are important or not important? Like, there's this whole thing that you have to ask yourself with when you see the team playing and how they're playing and how much they need Jimmy and don't have Jimmy. Like, these are all things that at some point, it gets to the point where you're like, yeah, we want him on our team, but he's not really there. He's not when we need him. So what do you do with that? I don't know. I don't know what the reasons are. I don't know what the circumstances are, but I do know this. He's 35.
Yes.
Like, for you to keep thinking that you're going to be able to get the rejuvenated 30-year-old Jimmy, you're being crazy. That's all I've ever said about this is that 35, I don't know what y'all think. Just like they thought, at 40, Tom Brady did it. Aaron Rodgers could do it.
This always has to come back.
I'll give you another one. Kirk Cousins. They signed. Aaron Rodgers could do it. Tom Brady could do it. Kirk Cousins could do it. No.
I mean, if it wasn't for the
old is old
nastiness of Aaron, his numbers aren't pretty bad for a guy coming off an injury. But nonetheless, this is about Jimmy. So Leroy said no, he's done with Jimmy for right now. Dan, you want Jimmy back? JFig, do you want Jimmy gone?
You shouldn't be saying I want Jimmy back in the middle of the season. That's the whole point.
Do I want him back? You're saying?
Well, are you willing to part ways with Jimmy now, or do you want one more ride?
I don't want him gone.
There you go.
But you know he's like. But are you understanding the fact that unless it's an NBA championship run, Jimmy's pretty much gone?
I get that.
But you rather it be after the season than within the season, because the fear is you do it after the season, you don't get the goods and some of the
trade back. You know what's funny about this?
And assets that you would get.
I can't put the scenario into real life consequences. Because if I take this same situation and put it into something personal, right? I think we would feel differently about it. And I'm like, I can look at it for what it is. Like, if you did it with a car, if you did it with something that is in your own personal life, right? You would tend to look at this a little bit differently. But when you say 52 million, you saying, oh, the owner got money. You're not like, so let's think of it this way.
Not my money.
You have a car, right? And you rode this car, and this car has been great to you. But then your car start having problems. You spend $500 here, you spend $1,500 there, and now you've had this car for 5 or 6 years, and it broke down on you again. And you have a choice. You can spend $2,500 to fix the car, or you can put $2,500 down on a new car. In most cases, you're gonna put $25,000 a lot. Right, it's giving you a lot, but you cannot go tomorrow spending $2,500 hoping that it lasts when you can just get a new one.
That car got you, helped you, landed you your girl, helped you get the job.
Right.
the apartment, all that.
Also,
But 2,500 is 2,500, and that's hard cash that you're gonna put on a car that's 5 or 6 years old, and you can get a new one.
what if that new one's a lemon?
You can return the new one. You can't return that old one once you put that 2,500
Well, if we don't like
into
the
it.
trade and we send Jimmy Butler somewhere and we're like, oh, no, we don't like this anymore. Send him back.
No.
There's no reverses in those trades.
Right? You might get a car that might not be. Wait, here's the deal.
You do know what you got with Jimmy Butler, 35-year-old.
You might be able to get a car that you don't even like as much as the car you had. It might not have the, this car, I used to get this out of it. I used to get the gas mileage out of it. I used to get all these things. But you know what the one thing the new car gonna give you?
That new car smell.
Transportation.
Yeah.
Transportation.
All right.
You ain't gotta worry about whether that car is or isn't gonna get you where you need to go.
I don't know, Leroy. I don't know about that.
All right.
We've got Jimmy
Some
Butler.
new cars do give you more issues. Just saying.
See? So we got Jimmy Butler on a car lot, but we've ducked the Coquito question. So Figgy, when we come back, I need to know about the overrated or not overrated. I think you and I agree, but we'll find out. Just hold tight. This is the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM.
What's he gonna do?
All right, we're going to get back to Jimmy Butler and possibly Tyreek Hill's future here in South Florida. But before we do that, without any further ado, I got to talk to Figgy. I got to defer to her because she is a Cuban. She's born here and raised here and lived here in the 305. Cuban infused, one of the greatest cultures in the world. I was gifted some Coquito from Luis and Luisa from Puerto Rico over at Duffy's Inn Plantation the other day. And I brought it to a party. I put it down and it disappeared. Didn't even get a sip of it. And I went around to people at the party saying, how'd you like the Coquito? And I was surprised. A lot of people were like, oh, I mean, talking about people of Latin culture, of all cultures, saying, oh, I don't drink Coquito or eggnog. It's too sweet and all this.
Yeah, your bottle was gone.
Yeah, where did it go then?
There were a lot of people at the party. So it is one of those things. Some people did have it. But and I was like, more and more people are telling me like, Coquito, it's cool, but I don't really like it. Or I have 2 sips every year. It's just kind of a tradition. So I'm asking Figgy, in your opinion, is Coquito overrated or is it right where it should be?
Let's put it this way. I believe there was 4 bottles consumed.
At my party?
No, my party.
Oh, your party.
How was she talking about your party? She was at your party. What's going on?
I was there. I was one of those people. I took your bottle. Actually, that was me.
Yeah.
So you drink a lot. You drink it.
You're a birderer and now you're a Coquito stealer. Like, geez, what's going on with you, JFig?
No. I drink it. I like it, but it depends on who makes it because specific people make it better than others.
That's true.
No
Coquito. Are you saying specific culture?
You don't buy the bottle. You guys make it.
Are you saying specific culture, JFig?
No. So like I grew up with a family that has made it every year, and we always purchase from them. They are Puerto Rican actually, and they make it really good.
Good question, Figgy.
That's like you going to the bootleg sales.
No, that's how you do Coquito, man. You gotta buy it.
No one goes to a store to buy Coquito.
No,
you make it.
You gotta go to your man.
You gotta go to your people.
You gotta go to your man. Yeah.
So Figgy, I did hit somebody up online. I'm not gonna say the name, and they wanted me to go down to like the FIU area, and they said 2 bottles gonna cost me $60. Is that realistic, or is that a little too much, or a little too little?
That's a good deal. $230.
How much would a bottle of Coquito usually run? A normal bottle?
I think it's around that price. Yeah.
Okay, so she wasn't trying to. She wasn't trying to jack me.
So I believe my friend sells it for $25.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I heard. I said 25.
How big is this bottle?
We're talking about Coquitos, people. We're talking about Coquitos.
Coquito bottles. They're kind of like what? Half a gallon?
Half a gallon.
I don't know.
Half a gallon.
We all know what Coquito bottles look like down here in South Florida.
Ain't no way a half a gallon. Ain't nobody.
Okay, it's a little less than a fourth of a gallon. Then there you go.
A liter. So 30. So 25. Wait. So what is a Coquito? Is like rum and
dairy and a little bit of cinnamon, I think, in there.
No, all I know is if you hear mommy Coquito, you hear like it's made by an abuela or if it's made by an abuela or it has like a lady's name, a lady's name in front of it, that's the Coquito that you gotta get, because that means people been waiting all year for that particular one. Like she makes the best one out of anyone. You're waiting for that. You're waiting for that. It's similar to Haitians New Year's Day with their soup.
Oh yeah, the soup. I do understand.
Right. The Haitians every New Year's Day, Haitians have this soup called soup jumeau. Pumpkin soup. But there's got to be a particular person. You're gonna wait for that person. That person has to make it because they're good. So that when JFig was like, I got a neighbor and she's the one that makes it and we wait for her, that's because she's got the reputation.
I've known this woman since
right, but she's also got the reputation of hey, she makes the best ones. And by the way, knowing the person's always good because that means you're always going to get it immediately.
You like what she's cooking or whatever she's making.
This year we didn't order from her because we ordered from somebody else that we had just discovered. But last year I ordered, and within the hour I already had it at my doorstep.
Whoa!
I mean, y'all, you sound.
It was quick.
Wait. Why y'all making it sound like we ordering Coquito like Amazon Prime?
You can't do that, bro.
Just say I
I'm
got that
telling you, they
grind.
work fast.
So like, yeah, so that's how it's done. It's like, what is it? Cream.
There's some condensed milk in it.
Hey,
There's
whip it.
Cinnamon.
I've never made it. I want to make it one year, but I've never made it. There's
Whip it. Real good.
So just going into
coconut
real
milk,
quick-
I believe. It's just,
Does-
I'm reading
does-
ingredients off the internet. Do not come
Right.
for me.
Yeah, right. We're just going.
There's
ballpark.
condensed milk, coconut milk, rum. There's some people also put vanilla for taste.
Right. Cinnamon, nutmeg.
Cinnamon.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. I love it.
So let me get this straight.
Uh-oh.
And the rum varies depending on who's making it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything varies depending on who makes it.
Okay. And like I was like and like all right. I just like I'm gonna be honest with you. When if I go to a liquor store or I go to a party, right? The milk section is off limits when I'm drinking, right? The
Usually.
eggnog, that to me, every time I've drank eggnog,
I don't like eggnog.
it tastes like eggnog in my when I burp for 3 days. Like that's a terrible feeling.
I was gonna say that sounds like a good thing to have.
No. So I've never been an eggnog fan. Sometimes you gotta tap the top of the thing to get the eggnog out.
You gotta get into that bottle with some chopsticks or a knife or something like that.
But you see what I'm saying? That don't sound like a joyous drink.
It's the season.
And if
But
you've
it
been
is.
eating, if you had a party and you done had some finger foods or whatever. Ooh, dude. So we had our party, right?
Go on.
We had our party and we had
You invited neighbors?
No, wait. Your neighbor's party?
No,
Yeah,
different. We have one. We have one where we have all the families. They all wear like
Wednesday?
pajamas, and then we play games and stuff like that, right? So here, for example, here's what my wife's sister's family.
Oh goodness, matching pajamas.
Right.
Everyone.
So yeah. And we had on all green. So and then we took a picture with all of us. So yeah, we did that. And so my mom made some gumbo.
Chicken and sausage or seafood?
Seafood.
Oh, even better. Stepping it up.
We had some crab, shrimp, and andouille. No okra though. She didn't put okra in it. She don't put okra in her.
No okra?
And then so I said, Fonz, let's make some oyster Rockefeller, right? So I went to Restaurant Depot and I got a box, like a big old box filled with oysters. And you got to do that because if you go to a store and buy them, you don't know how old, whether they've been frozen or not.
Are you out there shucking them with a glove?
Yeah, we shucked them all.
You had the glove. You out there.
We shut a whole box, but he did it in like 15 seconds because you know he works at Shuck and Die.
That's true. He works at Shuck and Die.
So that's so he had all the little two. So
end up losing thumbs.
listen, so we had, I would say we had about 60, 70 oysters, and they lasted 7 minutes.
Oh, I'm surprised it lasted that long.
I mean, it was crazy.
All right. Speaking of stomach aches, we'll leave on this and take a break. Figgy, what is the maximum amount in one sitting you can drink of Coquito? How many cups?
Oh, I don't know.
You just
I
drink.
don't count. I just drink.
Keep drinking.
I just drink. Don't do this to me.
We'll be back talking Tyreek, talking Jimmy, talking 305 Miami here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Not to interrupt the jam, but whew, we just keep breaking news on this episode of the Tobin and Leroy Show. The day after Christmas, the first day of Kwanzaa, the second night of Hanukkah, and whatever other holidays happening today. First, we told you, Jim Larranaga, Miami Hurricanes basketball coach, expected to step down within the next 30 minutes of the press conference. Then we tell you, Shaq Barrett has been released by the Miami Dolphins, and if he clears waivers, he'll be eligible to play for any team starting on Saturday. Now, there are reports saying former Dolphin, former Saint, former Minnesota Viking, former a lot of things, and coach Northwestern here, championship coach Northwestern,
Exactly.
Teddy Bridgewater is going to sign with the Detroit Lions. Leroy, what a day.
What a day.
A lot of local.
We heard about this earlier. We said when he was done, he was going to go back. I didn't know if.
What a year it could be for Teddy Bridgewater, possibly coaching his alma mater to a state championship and then
win the Super Bowl.
I know. That's not a bad year, bro.
That would be crazy. It was like, what did you do this year? Well, I coached a high school team to a state championship and won the Super Bowl in 2 different states.
Pretty good year.
You know, it would have really been perfect. This would have been a damn movie if the Super Bowl was in Miami.
That's true.
And Detroit played down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you wanted somebody to star in your movie?
Huh?
You wanted somebody. This is the giving the holiday season,
right?
Because you were willing to. You're hoping somebody could have starred in the movie that should have happened for you.
No, I don't. I don't want no. I ain't got no.
No, because you remember, right? That NFC Championship game, you would have played. That would have been you'd have played in Miami.
Yep.
Right. The only stadium I never played in, right?
I never played in Miami.
And that would have been it for you. That would have been, you would have been good.
That would have been good. Instead, it was the other side, and I had to watch the fireworks from my backyard.
That stinks, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Leroy said that story. He's like, here I am. Now I'm literally 5 minutes away from the stadium, and I'm seeing fireworks in my backyard. That hurts. That hurts. That's why I always never blame Cam Newton when he got upset when the Panthers lost to the Broncos, and they were all making fun of him because the post-game press conference. And it's like, well, y'all not understanding the fact that he's doing a post-game press conference, and literally right behind him is the player from the other team that won, and they're talking and they're celebrating while he has to go over the biggest loss of his career.
I don't think, I think people sometimes forget how much you put into it and how hurt you are when you don't win, right? And there's people that have a job to do, I get that. But they go in there like you're not supposed to have any emotion and you're supposed to answer their questions. You know what I mean? And I think that the human element of it gets lost. Like, I think people want to see the hurt, right? But to have to answer why it happened, I'm like, nobody cares at this moment, right? Like, they asked me, like, what do you guys think you could have did differently? I'm like, nobody cares.
Won the game.
They won the game. We lost. So, like, who cares what you go back and play armchair quarterback? Does what? It's still going to have me at home watching the Super Bowl. So no one cares. And people say that's an insensitive answer. And people say that, no, but that's the reality of it. If I took you at your worst moment where things going absolutely bad and then put a mic in your face, how you think that reaction going to be?
I always find it silly when they interview the losing coach or one of the losing players. Like, all they do, great season, came out,
right? Like, and nobody wants to hear what you have to say.
All they want you to do is blow up or cry. That's what they're looking to do. Yeah. That's all they want. We're in media. We know the truth.
I'll be honest with you. When I got interviewed after the game, I was in such shock the way the last 30 minutes of my season played out. Because keep in mind, we missed a field goal that would put us up 10.
Mm-hmm.
They drove down the field and scored, right? We got the ball and started moving the ball in overtime. They stopped us. We punted. They went down and scored. That was the last 30 minutes of that season. And they were like, there was a dropped interception in the end zone where the guy tried to catch it like this and went right through the wickets, right? So
Who was that?
JFig?
Huh?
Was it?
No. It was an interception when they were driving on that last drive at the end of the game. So, like, all these things are going through your head, and you're thinking all of the different things that if somebody could have did one play. We had a play in overtime, like, and it's amazing. I remember like it's yesterday. Randy Moss was running down the field with nobody within 10 yards of him, and Randall overthrew him.
How do you overthrow him?
Again,
listen, I'm gonna say that's one of those games.
It's a series of things that happened that never happened.
It's a snowball, like or a domino. Once,
right,
dude. When I'm hearing Pat Summerall go, man, he hasn't missed a field goal all year, and then it's like that's the time he misses the field goal. It's like
it was brutal because you know what we did. We went into that huddle, that last drive, and said, fellas, all we got to do is score and the game's over. Right? And it was a 39-yard field goal. It wasn't even like it was a chippy.
All right, but in all honesty now, you think you would have beaten that Denver team?
Yes.
Here's why.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah,
because
Minnesota Vikings team was one of the best teams ever.
Here's why. Here's why. Now, I will say this. One thing that people didn't realize. In that Atlanta game, half of our team got hurt. Robert got hurt. A linebacker was out for the year, starting linebacker. We had a couple of other guys got hurt. So it would have been a mash unit, but it's
Super Bowl medicine would have happened. Super Bowl medicine would have happened.
Randy was healthy.
Yeah, Randy was healthy. Chris was healthy, and there would have been some type of visit by a German doctor. It's all good.
So, like, I do believe that we had in 30 minutes a series of unfortunate events that had never happened to us at one time all year. Now, I will say this. I think we ended up 16-2. Right? Yes. The 2 games we lost were the only 2 games we didn't score 30. Think about that. So going into the game, we knew we had to do. Right? So it was like a little bit of everything that added up to failure, not just one thing. And so we didn't blame the kicker. Like, hey,
so you see, I'm gonna bring this back. So if it was if it was things that were happening for that one game, that's for you guys in one game. What happens to a team it happens to them in a season? Because you can look at the Dolphins, a lot of things happen with Dolphins in this season.
I would say this: the difference between that and what we went through was we had established what kind of team we were. At the time, we were the highest scoring team in NFL history, right? So that's who we were. This team has had a series of injuries at pivotal parts of the last 2 years or 3 years that made it almost impossible to be consistent at what you do. Whether it's at quarterback, whether it's at offensive line, whether it's on defense. And I would say this, the defense has softened the blow of what it actually could have been. It could have been a lot worse. And so and that's why when people say you have to blow it up and do this, and this, and I would say you're making a terrible assumption. You're assuming that everything you replace it with is going to work out better. Dan, you're saying that with Jimmy, but here's what I would say. Here's what I would say to you. Here's what I would say to you with that, right? The whole equation becomes complicated when the person that you have doesn't play. That changes everything.
Kawhi Leonard.
Right. They're in the same boat.
Worked out in Toronto.
They're
1 year.
1 year.
So then, in your Jimmy point, right? Because
was that 1 year 3 years ago?
No, yeah, that was a long time
right.
ago.
But then look at what happened with them. The Clippers ended up paying them money. Now they're stuck with that man for the next 2 to 3 years.
Right.
At $60 million a year, and he still hasn't touched. He hasn't played 1 minute yet.
Here's what I would say. We comment on the Heat every day, every year. We give our opinion based on absolutely nothing but what we see and what we think, right? The Heat organization, they know.
Yeah.
They know the extent of all the, the talk, the injuries. They have more information than us. But I would say this. The one thing that we both can see, whether you're the Heat or you're a fan, is that I'm going to ask you this question. Can you depend on Jimmy Butler being there when you need him?
I would say 50-50. You got a 50-50 shot.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Is that worth paying 50-50 shot? You going to pay $52 million for 50-50 shot?
So you're
or maybe somebody who is not as good as Jimmy, but is always present.
See, I don't get this. I don't get this.
I don't
because
either.
even though I'm talking about, because here's the thing.
You're not going to let me.
No, I'm going to answer you because here's why. Because I feel like the teams down here are all very similar, especially the Dolphins and the Heat, right? Because now we're questioning giving $52 million to Jimmy now. And not too long ago, you were questioning about trying to give 50 for 5 years to Tua.
But here's the difference, though.
And they're both fit, and it's a 50-50 thing, especially one.
Here's the difference.
History, but we were still wanting to give him that money, right?
Wait, here's the difference. Okay. One is 25 and one is 35. Okay. So we're looking at, okay, can I give Tua $50 million? Will he play till he's 30? Now, keep the injuries, yeah, they're a factor or whatever. But can he play 5 more years? Yes. You give Jimmy a 2 or 3 year extension, add it on to the next year, he gonna be 38.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What I was saying is this. You're basically saying to me, are you going to go down to the Hard Rock Casino today, put $52 million on black on the roulette table and say 50-50? My answer to you would be no way. But then again, you're not listening. It's not my $52 million though.
Right. Okay.
If they give me 52 and say, go put it on red or black, I'll do it because I don't care. I want the Heat to do well, but logically, logically,
hey, you actually going to the casino with
they're going to meet you there. It's good. They're going to be there.
They'll meet my.
You know what I said? You know what I do, Vlad?
They'll meet my doppelganger.
I say I played black and it came in red.
I played black and I jacked with your $52 million.
All right. Let's get it real quick. Durrell. Volkswagen. Choose from hundreds of new Volkswagen models in inventory. Remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. College football playoffs return Wednesday at 1. Texas, Arizona State, followed by Oregon, Ohio State, and Georgia and Notre Dame.
There's one game Tuesday night.
There's a game Tuesday night.
Yes, New Year's Eve.
What do we have?
Is it Georgia? I think Georgia, Notre Dame. You said Georgia?
No, they're all on the same night.
There's got to be one game. It's not 3 games. I could just wrong.
I've checked twice.
I may be wrong.
So they start when tomorrow? I mean Saturday.
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
They start on Wednesday. 1-1.
On the 1st. No, there's a game on the 31st.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Break
there's a
it down
game.
for me, what it is.
There's a game on the 31st.
It's Penn State versus Boise
There
State.
you go.
Yeah.
On that.
Man, like so here's what's happening. And I'm gonna say this, and I hate saying it. Right? Because I've had so many bones to pick with the committee. But when you watch these games,
It stunk.
and when you start to see what they were trying to do, right? Besides the automatic qualifiers, they were right. Right? Like, while we sitting here worrying about who's 9, 10, and 11 and 12, is it safe to say it didn't matter?
Yes. Very
Okay.
safe to say. This year.
So we sitting here like crying, and then here's the other thing though.
Point for
Here-
Twitcher.
Here's another thing that I would ask you guys. Do you think Boise and Arizona State getting buys is good?
No, they're gonna get their ass kicked. It's gonna be
So you see what I'm saying? It doesn't like is that like it's
Hey, man.
I get well, but here's the other thing.
There was a time
Here's
Boise
the
State
thing,
had
here's
no
what I
chance against Oklahoma in a bowl game, and guess what happened?
Here's what I would say about this though. The automatic qualifier and automatically getting a bye, okay? The NFL does that. Okay? Because you could have a 7-9 record and have a home game.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Well, we're not gonna see a 7-9.
8-9, 8-9,
You're
right.
going to see a 14-win team going on the road to face
Right.
an NFC South
Yeah, but these are professionals.
or
These are
AFC
college
South.
teams.
It doesn't matter though.
But think
It
about
doesn't-
it. The Vikings could have to go to Atlanta or Tampa to go to Atlanta
Or
if the
Tampa,
playoffs
right.
ended, or Tampa, and they won 14 or 15 games this year.
Right.
And they're not gonna be able to host a playoff game at home at
Correct.
all.
That's what we say.
So I get it. I understand it. But wow, like the argument between 4 and 5 with Alabama and Florida State just moved down to 12 and 13. And what did we realize with both of those situations? If you are ranked, if you get in the playoff and you're 8, 9, or 9, 10, 11, or 12, you're probably not going to win. Traveling, having to play on the road. And so the 12-team thing sounds great. And the 12-team thing is great. And you say, oh, we got a playoff. But you're basically just giving your top 4 teams a week off.
There you go. Back after this on the Tobin and Leroy Show. Ooh, a classic beef song. Lead me in perfect, Vlad. I didn't even ask for this. Leroy, I want to get your opinion on this, and maybe Figgy too. You can jump in if you'd like. I'd appreciate this.
What's up, colonizer?
Following.
If y'all listen to the song, then Vlad know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
I mean, the world's heard this song about 1 billion times.
Yeah.
You got a colony.
You're a colonizer.
You're a colonizer. I see.
All right.
That's like calling someone. That's like calling someone a harlot, a charlatan, or
like it was just a sneaky way,
a polite way, a polite way.
I mean, so many clever
harlot.
Pass on that body like John Stockton.
Yeah,
beat you and hide the Bible of God watching. Man, how long have you heard?
I'm not. You know what that made me laugh yesterday?
I know what it made me laugh.
I'm listening. I'm watching the game, and all of his
trying to strike a chord, and
like
minor,
and then holding the minor. No, it's when you're watching basketball, and then all of a sudden, like the organist goes. And then you know the song, like you know what he's playing.
Yeah,
like, they're not even playing the words. It's just the organist. Like you usually hear defense.
Yeah,
defense. And I'm like, I know what's going. He's playing not like us right now.
Yeah.
Marcos would be so mad at this segment, by the way.
Oh yeah, because he loves Drake.
He's an Aubrey lover.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to another beef right now. Leroy, I want to get your opinion. Maybe Figgy, you can jump in on this. We get sidetracked sometimes. It's the day after Christmas.
That's everything.
Tyreek Hill,
dude, are you familiar with our show?
I know. Trying to talk about Tyreek Hill here and his comments about dropping 3 passes that he needs to practice more and kind of giving love to Andy Reid. Was that a little bit beef? Was that a little bit of shot at Mike McDaniel in your opinion, Leroy?
No. Here's why.
Was it just Tyreek being Tyreek?
Here's why. I don't usually read too much into none of this,
especially Tyreek,
because as a human being, when somebody approaches you or attacks you, like what's wrong with you? Why you ain't doing this? Why you not doing that? You get defensive. And when you get defensive, you trying to get that stink off of you, right? So you coming up with these reasons other than I just dropped the damn ball. So if you remember after the game, he was talking about me and Tua, need to be on the same page. And Tua's like, yo, I'm working every day, right? And he kind of said, I'm not getting the reps for whatever reason. Okay, but let's be clear. There is one job requirement of a wide receiver. And that is catch the ball. So if you got a ball thrown at you, and the one ball that everybody's complaining about, the ball was tipped. That's not the one ball. There's 2 others that he. There was 2 others, right? And so I would say your one job requirement is to catch the ball, especially one that hit you in your hands, because your hands are supposed to be better than everybody else's hands. That's why you playing football at the highest of levels. So when it gets down to it, and you are explaining anything about catching a ball as a receiver, the first comments out of your mouth are, I'm better than that. I should have caught him. That's it. Move on. You don't need an elaborate explanation.
So 2 questions for you, Figgy. We're going to ask you and kind of circle back to everything. Do you feel as though there's beef between Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel after the comments of Andy Reid was a great coach and I need to get in practice more and I'm not practicing these veteran days off? Do you think there's a little beef between those 2?
No.
Second question. If Tyreek Hill would drink more Coquito, would he catch the ball better?
Possibly not.
Hey, he catch one of them. He'd catch one of them. He'd be grabbing at one of them.
I don't know. It depends on how much Coquito he has.
I just think sometimes the simplest explanation for what goes wrong on a football field is I made a mistake.
Yep.
That is the hardest thing for any human being to admit, right?
It's against our nature.
And to say, when you say to somebody, I need to work more, right? You got to know when you need to work more. Hell, I played on teams. We used to get Veterans Days during camp. And me and Robert used to say, let's go run, because we did a lot of running last week. So we go run some sprints on the side, or, during practice before we do our lifting, go run and do some stuff like that. Maybe run a couple of routes or whatever. You know what you need. You're supposed to be the professional. You setting the standard for everybody else. So to say that, oh, I'm not getting enough reps, there ain't no, name another pro saying that. Right? Even Teron Armstead isn't saying that, and he don't even practice.
How are you complaining about getting a day off? Like, I don't get that.
Timing's off.
So they know,
Leroy, not everybody's like
Somebody
you.
comes at you a certain way. Your first mindset is to be defensive and give a reason, when the only reason should be, I got to make those plays.
Yep.
That's it. This whole conversation would be over, because what else they going to answer to it? What else they going to ask you? Nothing. But the reason the conversation is still going on, the reason why it's still going on is because of the responses that he gave.
Right. That's true.
Right.
Good job. Good job. All right. More silliness, Coquito talk, and maybe Leroy being on the All Madden team. Closing out the show next here on 560 W. My man. First of all, Leroy, did
Yes, sir.
you running those gassers on the sidelines and said, "That's a man I need on my all Madden team"? During practice.
If he saw me running gases on the sideline, he would say, "How is this guy playing football?"
You see that hood? You see that hood? Boom, boom.
Yeah.
He just hits the hole.
I told you, I was able to play so long because I played confrontational football. I believed just from growing up and how it is you here, so what? You free, so what? You still got to tackle me. And I didn't worry about it, and I got hit a lot, and I was able to play a long time like that. I didn't worry about it. Now I wasn't slow, which everybody, thinks that I was an ice wagon, but I actually ran 4.4 coming out.
Yeah, everybody knew
So
Leroy was a fast train. Like you were like a breeze line, bro.
It's the neck pads, bro.
It was all the pads.
You
But
played at Michigan. It was kind of a black and blue kind of Big Ten school.
yes,
Yeah.
put it this way: Jim Harbaugh got drafted in the first round, and I don't remember him throwing passes because we were wishbone, and we didn't go. I remember my second year starting. I asked the coach if we could play without a fullback, and they go, "Why?" I say, "Because he's getting in the way." Right? Like if your fullback and your running back are on the same page, basically your fullback has to be able to read stuff like you are, right? And if he doesn't, and y'all going to two different places, then he's just blocking stuff up.
Yeah. Real quick, with the breaking news theme that we've been going through today, it seems like everybody took the day off yesterday, and then they've gotten down to business today. Jim Larranaga looks like he's going to retire very soon, meaning like in a couple of minutes, going to have a press conference if he hasn't already. Number two.
He's leaving at the end of the year, right? Not now.
He announced end of the year?
I think it's the end of the year.
Teddy Bridgewater, he is most likely going to be joining the Detroit Lions after leading Miami Northwestern as a coach to the state championship. That would be impressive if he was a high school quarterback and then played in the pros. We also got the Dolphins waiving Shaq Barrett, who, if he clears waivers, will be able to join an NFL team. And Pat Riley has just made a statement on Jimmy Butler, and I quote, "On the Heat's Twitter page, at Miami Heat, we usually do not comment on rumors, but all this speculation has become a distraction to the team and is not fair for the players and coaches. Therefore, we will make it clear. We are not trading Jimmy Butler." That's his best, Maury Povich.
Until we do trade Jimmy Butler.
Right.
I mean, what does that? Yeah. What does that statement mean? He says,
but he's also saying this is a distraction and everything.
I don't like that.
Wait.
Like that.
Here, let me ask you a question.
Not trading.
What was more of a distraction? Tyler Hero having to play under these circumstances for the last 2 years? Or Jimmy and maybe some of his camp putting some of this information out there? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't read into any of it. I just think that this is that time of year where people talk about trades, and there's going to be conversation. Whether it happens or not, it's up to the parties that be. But as of right now, Jimmy's a Heat, and I'm fine with that.
What are you reading to this Shams Charania tweet recently? The Miami Heat are signing guard Isaiah Stevens to a two-way NBA contract out of their Sioux Falls G League affiliate. Matt Bolero of Pro Mondo Sports tells ESPN Stevens has had a strong play in the G League this season, 13 points, 11 assists. Does that mean anything?
No.
I'm messing with you. That means nothing. No, absolutely. But very interesting day we've had so far. Figgy and I are all on the Coquito wagon. I do want to ask you this, Leroy, and if we have some time, go around the training table, not college, yesterday, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for whatever holiday you were celebrating. What was on the training table? What did you eat?
So I did everything on Christmas Eve. So we can just sleep and lounge around all day. That's why I took advantage of that basketball. Let me see. We had ham.
Nice.
Dressing.
Oh, you gotta have dressing.
We had dressing. We had gumbo.
Ooh. chicken.
we
We saw
had
seafood gumbo.
we had seafood gumbo.
Yeah.
We had oyster Rockefeller.
Oh, that's
Then we had an assortment of my wife made some cranberry cheesecake and some pecan pie cheesecake. Right? What else do we have?
and she made that?
Yeah.
That's some work.
We had some other she makes macaroons, right?
like
but I ain't down with the macaroons.
She makes them. Aren't those very difficult to make?
Yeah.
She's a difficult cooker. She's making cheesecakes and macaroons and everything else.
Let me see what else. Oh, and the biggest argument we got into is Mima wants to shut down the whole kitchen for pigs in a blanket. But pigs in a blanket is blanket around a hot dog, almost like a pastry around a hot dog. But she says her pigs in a blanket is bacon wrapped hot dog. I'm like, that's not pigs in a blanket.
I don't know what that is.
That bacon ain't a blanket. That's what we call it in Canada. I said, well, you in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's bringing Canada to you, Leroy.
I'm not saying they weren't delicious. I'm not saying that.
You just want the proper name for them?
They're not pigs in a blanket.
So Figgy, Noche Buena, Moro, Lechon, Yuca y Coquito.
Yeah, basically that's what I had.
That's what
and then there was some salad, I believe. And I made potatoes.
The bacon is more like a Snuggie.
That's true.
Vlad, what'd you get on the training table beside non-alcoholic beer?
You drink non-alcoholic beer?
Nah, bro. I went to a friend's house. I mean, the annual friend's house who does the party, and you grab a beer, and then I looked at the beer, and then somebody looked at me and was like, "Are you drinking diet beer?" And I'm like, "Drinking diet beer." And I looked at it, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is like Stella."
You didn't notice?
It was like Stella or Double Zero because it was zero calories. I'm like, who has 0 calorie beer
on a holiday?
On a holiday, but what made no sense? All the alcohol and liquor in the world. What
you just having to reach in
red wine?
Hey.
But then you go to the cooler, the Yeti cooler, and the Yeti cooler. There's nothing but beer, but non-alcoholic beer.
You made some assumptions.
No,
you assume looking at all the other liquor, you could just put your hand in the.
I'm used to going to this event every year and grabbing beer. So you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even
right.
It was nothing until wait. But all the non-alcoholic, but then they had Peroni. They had Peroni beer.
Oh.
How you gonna have non-alcoholic beer but have Peroni? So I was drinking Peroni beer. So I was, I was Italian for the night.
You got to be sometimes, man.
Yeah.
What did you have, Dan?
Oh man, what did I not have? I had a whole lot of vegan. I made vegan stuffing. I made vegan butternut squash. What else did I do? Oh, I did some tempeh, and then I had to break my veganism because I was at someone else's house. So I had some ham, pan de jamon. I forgot what else. I was just putting whatever in my mouth that I could. That's kind of the way I am on the holidays. I just put whatever I can in my mouth.
You're not a vegan.
All right. Leroy, I think you're muted.
No,
I didn't mute him. No.
Oh, all right.
No. So I'm looking at you saying you need more meat in your life.
I got some meat in my life yesterday.
Yesterday. No, I'm
me
just
more.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
I'm just wait, first of all, let's be clear. Me and Dan Day grew up in the same city. And I'm gonna say this as best as I can say it.
I'm the skinniest person from that city.
Yes, that too. There ain't no vegans in Louisiana.
No.
None. 0. Okay? 0. You know why there's no vegan? Because if you can't fry it, saute it, or sizzle it, it ain't getting eaten. And I ain't never seen nobody do that with vegetables. So let's start there. So the fact that he said, I butternut squash, I don't even know who you are. What are you talking about? But
come on, it's Dante.
It's that day. And look, it wouldn't surprise me if a week from now I see him walking down the street with a cheeseburger the size of his face.
Probably
right?
So.
It just
Probably so.
like
We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Hasta luego, mi amor.